Healthier the last 48 hours behind a rejuvenated offense and some outstanding starting pitching. They hope that's the recipe for success as they head to the city by the bay and 3 dates with the Giants. One of the prettiest parks in Major League Baseball, sitting at McCovey Cove AT&T Park. And welcome to a beautiful evening and a beautiful weekend to be in San Francisco. The Rockies matching up with the Giants over the weekend. And the Rockies will carry a little momentum west to begin this 6-game journey that will also take them through Los Angeles. Welcome upstairs, everybody. Glad as always that you're along with us. With my partner George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies beat up the Atlanta Braves yesterday 10-3, almost figuratively and literally.
Yeah, they did almost. It was a great pitch game yesterday. The offense was outstanding, and things got a little dicey. We'll get to that later on here in the open. But yesterday, Chacín was outstanding. He pounded the strike zone early, which was key. Then he started to get a lot of ground ball outs that followed, allowing him to work 85 pitches, 7 innings, a couple of hits. And again, no runs up on the board. And it's the old saying in baseball, you're only as good as your starting pitcher. Defense played a role in the entire ball game, but the offense is what took off yesterday.
Well, and look who got healthy. Charlie Blackmon struggling a little bit in the month of June. He snuck this one on the right side of the foul pole for a home run. Justin Morneau continues to be Mr. Steady. Hits this one into the Atlanta bullpen. Both of those guys were driving 3 runs in the game. They had plenty of help from Dickerson and Rutledge. Then things got really interesting in the 8th inning and kind of peculiar. Watch the follow through, the swing, a foul ball, and Dickerson obviously did not intend to have his bat hit Gerald Laird. Fortunately, Gerald was okay. The very next pitch, once Laird left the game, Carpenter dots Dickerson. They have words, but the man who was most incensed was the Rockies' normally cool, calm, and collected manager, Walt Weiss, because he was flashing back, George, also to a pitch that got away the day before from Julio Teheran and knocked the helmet off of Josh Rutledge.
Well, there's been a lot of that going on lately, and Walt very upset about all of this. And you flipped over to the 9th inning after that had transpired. Gaddis had come into the game to replace Laird. He takes it in the back and is a true professional way. He knew what was going to happen. There was 2 outs. There wasn't anybody on base. Tommy Ronalds had to go out. He's taken out of the ball game. Business over. They took care of what they needed to take care of.
Well, it was the right thing to have happen. It was a baseball thing. You keep it below the shoulders. Walt Weiss this afternoon talked a little bit about what that could mean for his club.
You know, certain things can spark a club, but ultimately you just got to go out. You got to pitch well. You got to grind through at bats and catch the ball and do all those things that it takes to win games. But I don't worry about this club needing a spark. I mean, like I said all year, these guys show up really well.
Well, that's typical of Walt Weiss. Walt's always going to downplay it. It's never about him. But I guarantee you, I know this because you and I have talked to a lot of guys in that clubhouse and coaches, and that meant a whole lot.
Well, it meant an awful lot to him because he goes out and he's backing his players. He doesn't like what transpired over the series, not just that game. And he stood up for what he thinks right. And I applaud Walt for what he did yesterday.
No question about it. We have more to come from the ballpark, but right now we get it back to our Denver studios and Mark Stout. Mark? for San Francisco in the early evening. Rockies 31-35. The Giants have the best record in baseball at 43-24. Welcome back upstairs with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Well, the Giants have really taken off, and it's coincided with when the Rockies and Giants played that rain-shortened game that was suspended. They'll make up later in the year, that finished a 2-2 tie. Let's take a closer look at why the Giants have the best record in baseball. For them, it has always begun with pitching, but George, they're swinging the bats with authority this year.
A lot better. I mean, they're hitting a lot of home runs. I think Michael Morris is a big part of that. Belt's on the DL. He's coming back. Hunter Pence, those guys are swinging the bat well. But the big key for me, as it always has been, 129 two-out runs. Those are gigantic in a ball game. They have the second ERA, 3.14, and their bullpen is as solid as any in baseball with 23 saves right now. They're a team that can come out. They know what their limitations are. They don't put them in a position of failure but success, and their bullpens are outstanding. And you're going to see some pretty good pitching matchups. The youngster Bergman going against Vogelsong in the ball game tomorrow afternoon.
And then on Sunday, Juan Nicasio will face the ace now of the Giants staff, and that is Madison Bumgarner. By the way, tonight facing Lincecum. It'll be the first time the Rockies have seen him this year.
Well, and he struggled. Let's be honest. He's not the same Tim Lincecum, even though he's averaging a strikeout per inning. He's not the same guy that he was when he won 2 Cy Young Awards. Matter of fact, Bruce Bochy's even commented on some radio and in the newspaper that if it doesn't get better, he'll be in the bullpen.
Well, he's been there before. The Rockies feel like they have the right man on the hill tonight. Jorge De La Rosa will kick off this trip to San Francisco. It's the Rockies and Giants. Come on back to AT&T Park with us. Tim Lincecum has completed his warm-up tosses quickly. Charlie Blackmon steps in as the Rockies try to tame the Giants in the first pitch of the ball game at 92, and that's about where Lincecum tops out these days. He's in there for a strike, and for some reason Mike Winters wanted that baseball.
Charlie asked for it to get checked. That's the reason behind that. Charlie had asked Mike Winters to give a look at the baseball. Thought it had a funny reaction at the end.
Lincecum's trying to do something that he has not done all year, and that's win consecutive starts. And that pitch is outside, 1-1. The Giants won yesterday 7-1, but they lost 3 out of 4 to the Washington Nationals.
In his career, he has 48 career wins at AT&T Ballpark against 39 losses, an earned run average of 341, 120 ball games pitched here at the ballpark.
A ball and 2 strikes on Charlie Blackmon. Temperature in the 65-degree range right now, which is outstanding. Not a cloud to be seen. Late arriving crowd. They have a long sellout streak here at AT&T. And the 2-2 is blooped to shallow left. Coming on is Morse, and he makes the catch, 1 out. Let's take a look at Walt's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Drew Stubbs been swinging the bat great in the month of June. He's really had a terrific year. He's at .319. Then Troy Tulowitzki at .356 coming home. Justin Morneau, Willeen Rosario, Corey Dickerson, Josh Rutledge. They're playing the hot hand. He'll be at second. DJ LeMahieu at third. And Jorge De La Rosa, of course, will bat ninth. So Stubbs will step up against Lincecum.
Now for Lincecum, most of his problems have happened out on the road. An earned run average of 6.84 at home, 3.86. Pitched much better here.
Lincecum with the 0-1, and that's in there. It's 0-2. Tim won the Cy Young in 08. He won it in 09, a 4-time National League All-Star. Outfield straight up, and that's outside, 2-2. No swing. They check it out at first base with Chris Siegel.
Yeah, I didn't think he went around either. Started to commit. A good call. That's what Stubbs has done. His aggressiveness at the plate is controlled aggressiveness now. I think that's what's made him a better hitter, a better strike zone that he sees.
1 out. Stubbs steps out. Slowly hit to short. It's not Crawford at short tonight. It's A-Ray Adrianza giving Brandon Crawford a night out. And that's 2 outs. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. Take a look at the numbers on Tim Lincecum. They're brought to you by Inova Cancer Care. Treat prostate cancer in only 5 sessions. Visit InovaCC.com.
Not a guy that works deep into the games anymore. About 5+ innings every time he takes the mound. Earned run average the highest on the ball club at 4.97. A record of 5-4.
Well, in this era of shifts, Troy Tulowitzki seeing 3 on the left side of the infield as Brandon Hicks moves over to the left side of second base. You more typically see it against power left-handed bats. The Giants are employing it against Tulowitzki.
Yeah, I was starting to think of what other right-hander have I seen at this dramatic. I have to go all the way back to Mark McGwire when he would hit with nobody on base.
2-0 on Troy. Now, I don't know, George, if you're superstitious. I know you well. You're not the most superstitious guy. Tulowitzki on Friday the 13th, I told him this in the clubhouse. He had no idea. He's hitting .462 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. I said, really? So stay hot on the 13th.
Well, another day at the ballpark for these guys. I mean, I think that's the way they look at it over and over again. We'll look at what their numbers are on certain dates on Fridays, 13th, those kind of things. But there's a stat for everything now. And they're kept over time on everything.
Here's the 3-0 and a 4-pitch walk to Tulowitzki with 2 outs. And that'll allow Morneau to hit here in the initial frame. Time for the Steel Tee Heating and Air Cool Stat. Never a trip charge for a repair. That's a $69 value. Steel Tee, the T stands for trust. Go to steeltee.com. Best record on Friday the 13th all time. The Rockies are 13-7. However, they are 11-1 the last 12 times they've played on Friday the 13th. That dates back to 2002. A little mess, I guess, with the Rockies on Friday the 13th. That's the essence of that graphic. Outside on Morneau, and Tulowitzki will move up. Hector Sanchez just boxed that pitch. And
oh, man, Tulo into this. This field is watered so heavy, and because of the damp air, it just doesn't dry out. It's actually kind of shiny out in that area. And Tulowitzki's slid into second, and maybe it's like a mud pile going in there, and everything gets jammed up, and you stop. You watch him break away from it, and he's going to get to the baseball and make that snap throw down. And when he gets right at second.
You know, this is the wettest I've seen an infield prior to the start of a game.
They really wet it down, particularly out in front of the home plate area, to try to deaden the ball off of the bat.
Ribby out there for Morneau, and it's 2-0. 6 straight out of the zone from Lincecum. Here's the slide.
I mean, it's just solid mud. You can look at Troy's legs and see that it's mud. That knee got jammed up against the base pretty hard.
In there, 2-1. Morneau yesterday hit his 11th home run of the year with 3 ribbies. He moved above the 40 RBI plateau. Wind's blowing out to right. At least it is now. It changes direction here frequently. Lincecum drops that breaking ball in, and you can tell by the reaction, Morneau talking to Mike Winters, he thought it was high and maybe away, and on the 4th strike zone, there hasn't been a pitch in the zone yet. It's a 2-2 count.
Exactly. This pitch changeup very high out of the zone. Called a strike. Makes it difficult on a hitter to define the pitcher's strike zone and where they're going to try to work you if you have that wide of zone.
Chance for Eric Young, and he handles it perfectly. Let's take a look at the Giants defensively, brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Michael Morrison, left field, below average outfielder. Pagan is good in center. Pence is very good in right. Adrianza, as we mentioned, is at short. Posey's playing first. He's doing that more and more, especially in the absence of Brandon Belt. Hector Sanchez doing the catching. 2-2. And this is pulled, but on one hop, right at Hicks, who's in short right field. Rockies got Tulowitzki to second base, nothing else. We'll go to the bottom of the 1st inning. No score in San Francisco. Neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Inova Cancer Care. Treat prostate cancer painlessly in only 5 sessions with minimal side effects. Visit InovaCC.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Rockies have dropped 15 of their last 18 at AT&T Park, trying to begin a new trend. Angel Pagan, switch hitting center fielder, will bat right-handed tonight against Jorge De La Rosa. Here's the rest of Bruce Bochy's lineup, presented by Southwest Airlines. Hunter Pencil bats second. He's really heated up. Posey, then Pablo Sandoval has raised his average close to 100 points since the last time the Rockies faced the Giants. Michael Moore's having a terrific year in his first year in San Francisco. Hector Sanchez, Brandon Hicks has some pop, not much of an average. A-Ray Adrianza making just his 4th start as shortstop this year. And then Tim Lincecum. Take a look at the numbers brought to you by Inova on Jorge De La Rosa. Non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com.
Well, obviously a lot better. 71 in the 3rd inning so far. 6-5 record with a 4.04 earned run average. Jorge in his career versus the San Francisco Giants has been very good. 9-5 versus the Giants. 6-3 with a 2.78 earned run average his last 10 starts.
So Pagan is ready to go, and he steps in against De La Rosa. Talking to Walt about this. Perfect guy to start this road trip after the Rockies won their last 2 against Atlanta. A little better feeling about themselves, and their steadiest and most consistent pitcher to begin this difficult 6-game stretch.
Well, you want your ace out there, particularly here, playing against San Francisco, the leader of your division, to go out and get strong. First pitch looked like a really good pitch strike. Unfortunately, you're sitting on a 2-0 count. First pitch you can see in the bottom half of the zone by Jorge, a good pitch.
And that's outside, 3-0. Trio to Pagan, and that's right there, 3-1. Angels won for his last 15. Again, the Giants won 7-1 yesterday behind Tim Hudson, who improved to 7-2. They dropped the first 3 games against the Nats. The Nats are really playing well. And this to short. Tulowitzki's got it. He fires a strike to Morneau, 1 out. Take a look at the Rockies defensively. They are brought to you as well by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Dickerson's playing a lot of left field in the absence of Cargo. Drew Stubbs in the middle, Charlie Blackmon in right. LeMahieu's at third. He's comfortable there. Tulowitzki playing Gold Glove defense again. Rutledge at second, Morneau at first, and Willeen Rosario has the gear on. Here is Hunter Pence, who always brings high energy to the ballpark. High in the air to Blackmon in right. Plenty of room for Charlie. 2 gone.
You know, you mentioned Washington and how well they played. 35-30 now. 1-game lead over Atlanta. 8-2 in their last 10.
That's pretty good. Buster Posey always hears it from the crowd. And I mean that in a positive manner. He had a 9-game hitting streak snapped yesterday when he went 0 for 5. The 9-gamer was his longest of the year.
Good job by Jorge De La Rosa. Ball falling behind 3-0 on the first batter. Worked it into a ground ball. First pitch fly ball to right. Had a clean first inning. Ended up against Buster Posey.
That was a slider that was down low, and it's 2-0.
Could have gone either way according to the Ford strike zone.
Posey's dealt with some back issues this year. He's making his 56th start of the year. 46 behind the plate, 10 with tonight at first base. And another 3-0 count. Pablo Sandoval's on deck. On the outside corner. Giants are 23-12 at home, 20-12 out on the road. Here's the 3-1 to Buster Posey. And this is popped up shallow right. Blackmon will handle it, and it's a good start for De La Rosa. We'll go to the second inning. No score in San Francisco.
To the top of the second. Well, it is a Fan Friday. Don't forget, we want to get interactive with you on Twitter. You can tweet us your questions at @RootSports_RM, and don't forget to use the hashtag ToyotaTalk. Hello, everyone. Jenny Kavnar. I'm up in the broadcast booth tonight. Gonna have some fun on Twitter and Instagram. Check out some pictures and tweets. We'll get all of yours answered. So go ahead and tweet us. We're checking out the questions right now, and we'll get some for you coming up. All right, guys.
Jenny, thank you. Willeen Rosario is coming up right now. Then Corey Dickerson and Josh Rutledge. As the Rockies are facing Tim Lincecum tonight. Lincecum's ERA at AT&T, George, is almost 3 runs less than what it is out on the road. He has an ERA on the road of 6.84.
Yeah, 3.84 here at home, and it's where it's really good at home. 386 earned run average at home. Big difference of the two.
Naturally, the club much better with Lincecum at home. They're 6-2 in his starts at AT&T. Here's that changeup. I asked Willeen around the batting cage this afternoon. I said, will you on occasion sit on the changeup? Now, some guys will. He won't. He says, no, I just try to see it and hit it.
Yeah, the bad part about sitting on that changeup, you do that, then all of a sudden you get the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's by you in a hurry, and that's why you just sit on the fastball, make him throw the secondary stuff for strikes.
And he will not only double up, but just as he did there, he'll triple up at times on that changeup.
Well, it's not a hard thrower anymore. When I say he throws plenty hard, don't get me wrong, but he's not 95, 96 anymore like he was as a young kid. And it's that transition of learning how to pitch. Asked for the elevated fastball. He shook to the slider.
Ooh, that came up and hit him in the face. Wow.
Yeah. Slider down and away. It's going to catch that hard surface right out in front. Almost looked like it hit the plate. Popped right back up on him. That did. Hit right on top of the plate and right on the nose. That will water your eyes.
So it remains 1-2 on Rosario. Naturally, they want the slider again. That was shaken off, and then the changeup was called, and Moline backed out.
All over the strike zone.
Fastball inside corner at 94. Hardest pitch he's thrown tonight, his first punch out.
Now you can see that if you are sitting on the off-speed stuff after a steady diet of changeups and sliders, it's tough to difficult to pull the trigger on a fastball. That was pretty much center cut.
One out, Dickerson steps up. Corey, a couple of doubles yesterday. Got good numbers against the Giants. Heck, he's got good numbers against everybody.
And the league's still in that experimentation with Corey Dickerson. In other words, he's getting a lot of pitches to hit, and he's taking advantage of it. As you pass through the league the second and third time is when they start to make adjustments to you.
And that's in there. Rocky's got a runner to second base in the first inning with 2 outs. Tulowitzki walked, moved to second on a pass ball, but then Morneau grounded out sharply to second. Took the fastball away. Mentioned the sellout streak. Tonight will be 282 in a row, which is the longest regular season home sellout streak in the National League. Two-two.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the Yankees in town playing the Oakland A's across the bay. Celebrating Derek Jeter, their last trip into Oakland.
When the sun goes down, you can see the lights from across the bay. This is off the end of the bat, and Pence is going to get there. Time now for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. Well, the last 3 games, Corey Dickerson, 6 for 10, 3 doubles, a triple, 4 ribbies, and Josh Rutledge has scored 7 runs. He's gone 6 for 11 at the plate, and he looks to stay hot out here on the road.
He's been on fire. Both these young players have played very aggressive baseball.
And Rutledge forced his way in the lineup, George, with his hot bat and pushed LeMahieu to third.
A natural position to put him at second. It'd be difficult to throw right over third. He's a middle infield guy. He hadn't missed many. This ball is going to be an out, but he drove it about 380 feet left center.
1-2-3 second for Lincecum, middle of 2, still no score. Friday night in the city by the bay. Time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos. Use the hashtag #COFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during an upcoming ball game. It's brought to you each night by AT&T. Pablo Sandoval is going to lead things off. He's batting cleanup tonight against Jorge De La Rosa, then Michael Morse and Hector Sanchez. Sandoval got off to a very poor start. There was a lot of speculation as he punches a single to right that the poor start had to do with his contract negotiations. But he has seemingly put that behind him and has really come on over the last month. Sandoval has it safely now in 27 of his last 33, batting around .350 during that span. Michael Morse will step up now, .287, 13 home runs and 42 driven in. Former National and briefly with the Mariners last year. Rockies had some interest in him as well.
Interesting that the Washington Post wrote an article a couple of days ago while they were in town, stating that the Nats were better off without Michael Morse on their ball club. And it hurt his feelings. I mean, it bummed him out a little bit because he felt like he'd done a very nice job for the Washington Nationals, and he's had a very fine season for the San Francisco Giants.
Talking to some people on the Giants staff, this ball's pulled foul. And if you had to pick a position player MVP for the Giants, Pagan would get a lot of votes. But according to one on their staff, Michael Morse would be their position player MVP. Got a lot of big hits.
How do you ignore 42 RBIs on the club? You know, the home runs, 13, leading in both categories.
I'm sure the Giants are saying that's fine. The Nationals may not want him. We love him. 2 balls and a strike.
Like a lot of big guys, you try to take away the inner half of the plate. Don't let them extend their arms out. Very difficult for guys to get inside with authority. On a pitch inside, Jorge's missed with a couple down and in.
Morse has been hot as well. 3 for 4 yesterday. He went 6 for 12 in the series against the Nationals. And that's away. It's 3-1. We've all seen De La Rosa pitch numerous times. De La will do this. I mean, he'll work sometimes behind in counts. I mean, behind in counts from a pitcher's perspective. Walks Morse, so now 2 on and nobody out. Let's check in with Jenny again.
Hey Drew, we're going to get you some updates on the guys that are injured on the disabled list right now, but we wanted to go to Michael Cuddyer, the source, and check in what he's doing back in Colorado. So we took a look at Michael Cuddyer's Instagram page, and he said, obviously, wish I was in San Francisco playing without a broken shoulder, but at least I got to Colorado, or at least I got to go to some beautiful places in Colorado. Gunnell Pass in the mountains. It's a beautiful day in Colorado. Of course, a beautiful day here in San Francisco, and we wish Michael all the best in his recovery. Drew?
That is a gorgeous shot. Of course, Michael is a very good amateur photographer. Does that count as a selfie, Jenny?
I'm pretty sure he has to be holding the camera for it to be a selfie.
So that's like an extended selfie.
Yes, and Gunnell Pass. I couldn't read at that quick
timed
moment.
Selfie. You know,
Time selfie.
Like 1 minute on the camera, and then you run over and sit in front of it.
So that's just timing out a photo. That's not a selfie.
It's a time selfie if he set it up.
Okay. We'll go to your Urban Dictionary on that one.
Hector Sanchez, double play candidate. It's 1-0 on Sanchez. Left field. Dickerson on the edge of the track. And he's going to test his arm. Sandoval moves up, throws off line, and it's still rolling around. And on that fly ball, Sandoval to third, Morse to second. There will not be an error there because Morse tagged as well. He did not move up when the ball got away.
Not only does the flight of the baseball get affected by the wind when it comes off of the bat, also with the throwing of the baseball from the outfield. That ball skimmed around all over the place. Luckily, it didn't get in that dugout. It made a right turn about halfway out to third base out of the hand of Corey Dickerson. When he got inside, you see a big tail on it, and then when it hit the ground, it bounced. It bounced well away from DJ LeMahieu. He thought he had it centered up in his body. And he just bounced and continued to run.
Brandon Hicks at the plate, and Hicks fouls it off.
Although his average is not what anybody would appear to like at 182, he does have 8 home runs. You got to respect the power.
He has struck out, George, about 36% of the time. And that's what De La Rosa will be hunting here.
Infield's back, not a lot of speed at third base in Sandoval. The ball hit hard. You may have a play at the plate, even if it's at Tulowitzki or Rutledge.
Good block. 1-1.
I don't think enough's been said about that with Willeen when you start to talk about 16 pass balls 2 years ago, 9 last year, and then this year it's down to 2. 21. So I mean, it's just gotten so much better over time in his ability to block, catch. He's healthy. The knee feels good. The ankle's good. So I don't think enough gets said about his ability defensively.
I agree. He's gotten beaten up because of 2 years ago. He's improved each year.
There's an example of it right there.
That's a run saver twice. And it gives confidence, George. You pitch forever. It gives confidence that as a pitcher you can spike something.
Well, you feel like you can bury the split, or you can bury the breaking ball in the dirt when you're ahead that counts.
2 balls and a strike on Brandon Hicks. Giants threatening, runners at second and third with 1 out. Good changeup.
Confidence in the pitch. That's the key to it. 2-1 count. You're confident you can throw it at any point in time, and he does that. Now, if you're sitting at home, you think that looks like a slider, but if you saw the grip out of the hand, you would see that it's the split pulled dramatically with that middle finger on his hand. That's what causes the rotation on the baseball. Hitters try to go get it, and it almost looks and appears, if you watch the plane of their bat, looks like they're chopping wood trying to hit it.
Two-two, and it's 3-2. On deck is the 8-hole hitter, A-Ray Adrianza.
No power, 185 average. Pick the poison.
But the one thing he brings to the table, if the bases are loaded, is he can run, which makes it a little more difficult to turn 2.
Very difficult.
See if De La Rosa can make a pitch here on Hicks. He got it. Struck him out on a 94-mile-an-hour heater. That's a big punch out. 2 gone.
Steady
now Adrianza.
Steady diet of off-speed pitches. Then this fastball, even though center cut, velocity separation of about 12 miles an hour. He got the ball right by Hicks. Big pitch and a big moment of the ball game. I'll go ahead and walk Adrianza and then let Lincecum swing the bat left on left.
In a ballpark that does not relinquish many runs, I think this is the absolute right decision. You know, sometimes early in games we go after that 8th place hitter. I mean, Adrianza's a backup. He has only 2 hits and 32 at bats as a starter. But still, you'd rather face Lincecum any day of the week than a guy that is paid to swing the bat.
Yeah, he's an everyday player. Regardless whether he plays every day or not, he's a guy that gets paid to swing a bat and catch a baseball, not to throw it predominantly, and Lincecum will come up. If I know Bochy, I think I do, they'll probably give him the take sign early until he gets a strike.
Safe Light Auto Glass, place to go if you have windshield issues. 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. Lincecum, how time flies. On Sunday, he will turn 30.
Amazing. Seabiscuit's road to the finish line pretty good.
Right?
Reference to a lot of organizations called him the horse that could, because during draft time he was so small, people were scared that he would break down over a period of time.
Got what, 5'10", 155 pounds,
right,
coming out of University of Washington.
94 wins later and 2 Cy Youngs.
And 2 world championships. Here's the 1-0. And that's right there. Lincecum has only 1 hit this year. You want to maintain your focus.
Wow. Is that off the plate? Just down. It looked like top half the baseball caught the strike zone. 4th strike zone. You can see it's just below, but 1-1 count here. Yeah, I can see where winners would call that a ball. Appear to be very low.
Line drive, foul. Crowd all stood up in unison, thinking Lincecum had lined one down the left field line. Bases full of Giants. Sandoval at third, Morse at second. Adrianza is at first. 2-2 count with 2 outs in the second inning on Tim Lincecum.
And what you're talking about in this conversation, if Lane goes out, you know what? We give him a couple fastballs. We don't want him squirting anything in here. Don't be afraid to throw the hard slider. I'll block it. I'll keep it out in front of him. You make the pitch you want to make, and we'll get him right here.
Two-two. And he missed with a fastball, and it's 3-2. Runners will be moving. 3-2 on Lincecum. Down the line, just foul again.
That's starting to get scary close.
I'm looking at Drew Stubbs in center field, George. He's way over in left center field, and you'll see it. You may see Mayhew move closer to the line now, and he did.
Dickerson's hugging the line in left. You got Stubbs playing in left center. Right field wide open. Charlie playing in right center.
Strike 3, outside corner. And the rally is terminated, or potential rally, by De La Rosa striking out Lincecum. So we'll go to the third. Ball right on the outside corner. Tonight on Rockies Real Time, batting champion Michael Cuddyer. We just saw him in the mountains. Well, he recently headed to the Louisville Slugger factory to see how his bats are made. He actually made one of his own. Get to learn how that process takes place with Michael, and also on how he gives back to the community. More on Michael Cuddyer tonight on Rockies Real Time after the postgame show. First pitch misses to DJ LeMahieu. It's 1-0 on DJ. And that's in there, 1-1. Rockies 12-21 on the road. That's fouled off. They were hanging in there on the road until that last trip east when they went just 2-7. Next stop at Dodger Stadium. It'll be the second time they played at Dodger Stadium this year. They won 2 of 3 against LA in Los Angeles earlier in the year.
Well, right now is a really good time to make hay within the division. 3 here in San Francisco, 3 in LA, to make that statement and rebound from that trip in the homestand you're talking about.
Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special with Masa Taco Bell. De La Rosa at the plate. And that's a base hit. De La Rosa stayed on that curveball, and the Rockies have their first hit of the game. A 1-out single from an unlikely source.
But 0.95 is not an impressive average.
Well, not generally.
I understand.
Well, I tell you what, Lincecum had an 0.56 average, and he put together pretty good at bat.
Yes, he did. Well, this is where you hope this offense, you get a little spark like this with De La Rosa and 1-out base hit. Charlie coming up, top of the order, second time through.
Charlie tied for the team lead in RBIs with 43. 41 have come as a leadoff hitter, by far the best in baseball. Which obviously tells you, though Charlie's driven himself in a lot with the 12 home runs, it tells you that the guys at the bottom of the order are producing traffic.
Well, they're leading the league in hitting. I mean, that's pretty simple to look back at it, see what they're doing offensively as a ball club. When you're leading in hitting at 286 average, it's throughout 1 through 8. It's not just one guy in your lineup, but 2 guys, with Tulowitzki swinging bat as well as he did at the start of the season. It's top to bottom.
And the last 3 days, the Rockies have produced as they were on such a frequent basis earlier in the year. The Rockies, go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
If you don't already receive Hot Rocks emails, you're missing out on the best ticket deals around. The only way to receive these emails is to become a Rockies registered user. Go to Rockies.com and register today.
And the Rockies beat up 3 pretty good arms the last 3 games against Atlanta. Michael Minor, Julio Teheran, who had the lowest ERA of any starting pitcher in baseball prior to the Rockies getting after him, and then Irvin Santana yesterday.
Irvin Santana was blowing 95 miles an hour in the 6th inning. The Rockies very patient, swung the bat extremely well.
Three and 2. And ball 4. Now the Rockies have something going. 2 on with 1 out. Drew Stubbs approaching. Second walk allowed by Lincecum, and he will walk some people. He's 6th in the league in allowing walks. He's walked 14 in his last 4 starts.
Runners on base this year, the league's hit 282 with 6 home runs. 10-point sliders, 272 with the bases empty.
Two on Drew.
Curveball, then he goes back slider, hard hook. And he does a really good job of mixing pitches here, and he gets not to allow you to set on one thing. You know, Stubbs, very good fastball hitter. They're actually wearing black, if you heard that man yell, "Come on, blue." Talking about the umpire.
Yeah, they're always called blue, and they never wear blue anymore.
And you know what? If you ask most umpires, they do not like to be called blue.
They do not like it at all. And even on the amateur level, ask for their name.
That's why you go into the Rockies dugout. You'll see all 4 pictures of the umpires, so the players know exactly who's where and who's umpiring
with biographical data. Two-two. This ball ripped to left field. De La Rosa will stop at third. Morse returns it to the infield. And after seeing the Giants load the bases last half inning, the Rockies now have the bases loaded. But here's the difference. Troy Tulowitzki's coming up, not Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, they don't have any place to put him now. They walked him last time on 4 straight pitches. Now they're going to have to pitch to him. I like this. Fastball they wanted to take to the outer half of the plate. Stubbs set on it, and I mean, he crushed this thing. It had about a 10-yard hook on it as it went into the outfield to Michael Morse.
So Tulowitzki, who has always hit well in his hometown. And he lifts this in the infield, and the infield fly rule is in effect. And now they're 2 outs, and Morneau will come up.
Yeah, prior to that, too, 412 average with men in scoring position to Tulowitzki. And now it'll be up to Morneau, who's hitting 258 with men in scoring position. Well, yesterday he came up in a big way in the ball game. Got a fastball on the inner half, deposited in the right center field bullpen of the Atlanta Braves.
$11 home runs for Morneau, 6 at home, 5 out on the road. Good swing. He got a pitch that he was right on. It was an off-speed pitch. Almost as if he was sitting on that. .338 in his career with 7 grand slams. This ball is going to drop a base hit, and the Rockies will get 2 runs out of it. Here's the throw, cut off. And Justin Morneau comes through a 2-out, bases loaded knock, and the Rockies have a 2-0 lead as Blackmon followed De La Rosa to the plate. How big was that?
Outstanding. I mean, those 2-out base hits, we talked about it with what the Giants have done, 123 of them. It'll draw Dave Righetti out to the mound to talk to Tim Lincecum. Curveball that stayed up in the zone, even though Morneau sets off of the plate, doesn't crowd at all. He has a very long, fluid swing, so he's able to cover the outside part of the plate, hit very hard at Hunter Pence. Pence able to field off to the side, then to throw in. Offline to Buster Posey, 1st and 3rd, and 2 outs and a chance to add on.
Two runs, 3 hits in the inning. Willeen Rosario, who was caught looking on a fastball in the inside corner. Has an opportunity here, 1st and 3rd.
Think back to Wileen's last at bat. It was curveball, slider, changeup, slider, slider, fastball. That was a sequence of pitches from Ted Lincecum to Wileen Rosario. They're asking for the pitch down in the dirt.
This ball on the ground to 3rd. Sandoval goes to Hicks to end the inning. But the Rockies got a big hit from Morneau. A bases loaded single. And Colorado has a 2-0 lead.
Justin Morneau and a 2-out single that scored 2 runs to put Colorado on top. And we welcome you back to a Fan Friday. Don't forget to send us your questions. You can do that at @RootSports_RM. You can hashtag it with Toyota Talk. We'll get to some during the game. In fact, let's get to one right now from Cassie. Cassie wants to know when Nolan Arenado is due back in the Rockies lineup, and Nolan will be reevaluated sometime on this road trip next week. He has still been his Tigger-like self, bouncing around the clubhouse, providing tons of energy and trying to do as much work as he can. He's lifting, running, doing some agility stuff. So hopefully Nolan is staying in great shape, and hopefully he gets good news next week, and we'll report it to you when we have it. Also, guys, really good news on Carlos Gonzalez. Quick, he got his pathology report back, and that tumor that they removed from his left hand was post-traumatic nerve-related tumor. That's what the pathology report said. So that's good news. That means it's a benign tumor, and Cargo's healing and recovering.
Yeah, that's outstanding news. And just to embellish, Jenny, what you reported on Nolan, and chatting with him this afternoon in the clubhouse, as Pagan hits the ball straight away and pretty deep. Drew Stubbs can't make the catch. Pagan to second and will stop there. So a leadoff double for Angel Pagan. Stubbs nodding to Blackman when he asked him if he's okay. He ran pretty hard into that padded fence.
He takes it all the way back to the very part of the wall. When he gets on the baseball, he feels like this ball might not carry as far, but it had some backspin to it, about 2 inches out of the reach of a hustling Drew Stubbs to try to make that catch.
Hunter Pence at the plate. Hunter hit a fly ball to right. That's down low. Just to finish the thought on Arenado that Jenny had started. Once he is cleared and that the bone is healed and he can start swinging again, it's going to be probably close to a 10-day process to get him back to the big leagues, because he'll have to go out on a rehab assignment. It's going to take him a few days to swing and get comfortable. I mean, it's
all about timing.
Yeah. And getting hand strength back. And that'll come after he is cleared by the doctor when they x-ray it again and make sure that bone is fully healed. 1 ball, 1 strike on the ultra aggressive Hunter Pence.
Yeah, he will chase a lot of balls out of the strike zone.
This dude doesn't need a cup of coffee, does he, Frazier?
No. I mean, this is a guy you keep all the caffeine away from.
I love his game. I mean,
he plays very hard.
Yep.
He plays the game the right way. For young kids at home, get a chance to watch him. He plays it the right way every day. Very nondescript, quiet player at 100% effort.
And a base hit to left. Pagan is going to come home. Dickerson's throw is not going to get him, and it's 2-1. Pence with his 24th RBI. And this is what the Giants do. It's why they have produced the best record in baseball so far. They get a bunch of timely hits, and they counterpunch well.
With him, you've got to be careful coming to the inner half. If you do, you really got to bury it. 90 miles an hour. He starts open, and he stays open on this pitch from Jorge De La Rosa and drives it to the left side. The speed of Pagan outruns the throw of Dickerson.
Now Buster Posey. Probably a pretty good time for that note on stolen bases or lack thereof when it comes to the Giants. They're hitting home runs. They're not stealing bases. They've gone 13 straight without even attempting a stolen base. Second longest streak since they moved from the Polo Grounds in 1958. And once went 15 games without producing a tough play out at first base. DJ LeMahieu, good pickup on the third base line and a great pickup at first by Morneau.
And we'll see if Bochy comes out. He's looking back for Ron Wotus to make that phone call. Buster thought he was safe. Bruce will make the stroll out. First base umpire Chris Siegel says, you know what, I'll walk halfway with you. Picked cleanly and picked in advance. See, now they're all going to turn and look to the dugout and say, what do you got? Well, I thought he was out. It's a half a step, but it's out.
And Boch got the signal he didn't want to see from Ron Wotus. Thumb down. 1 out, Pence at second. And that'll bring up Sandoval. Doesn't matter where you put DJ LeMahieu. He can pick it and he can throw it.
Very athletic middle infielder that can play everywhere. I bet you could go to the outfield and be comfortable.
He's a good
Speed,
athlete.
five, you know, he had a lot of stolen bases a year ago. They get a read off of the ball and send him out there.
He's a baseball player.
They're hard to find sometimes. So much specialty now.
Sandoval got the first hit of the game. A punch shot through the right side of the infield. Rockies leading 2-1 here in the bottom of the third. That's a good pitch. Slowly hit the short. Tulo's got it. Crossing in front is Pence, and they're 2 outs. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. 2 outs and Pence at third. That'll bring to the plate Michael Morse, who walked last inning.
Good pitch.
Yep.
Really, really good pitch. 87 mile an hour. The bottom dropped right out of it, out over the top of it.
What is a meeting like this about? There's no runner at second base, so it's not changing
Well,
signs.
he saw something on the mound. He didn't like it. He's waving for the trainers out. And that's what this is for. He saw something immediately off the delivery or the wind to the face or whatever it may be. I don't know if it's the swollen finger, what it may be. Obviously, it is the one thing that jumps out there every time.
And that's something, honestly, that he's going to deal with in every out. He's pretty much acknowledged that. And when
maybe
he
it's his
twists
back,
there, maybe
too.
it's a back, yeah.
Now, the grimace and the shake of the head, you just can't afford any more damage done here. Saw Jim Wright kind of lower the head and walk off.
Yeah, he said, and here's the thing that sometimes is misunderstood about De La Rosa. He's dealt with a lot of different nagging injuries, and he's a deliberate guy on the mound, and he's a very emotional guy. Rockies fans know that. But you know what he's not given enough credit for, George? He's a tough guy.
Well, very tough guy. I mean, you think about his record at Coors Field. He's tough enough pitch there. Think about that. Winningest pitcher in the history of Coors Field, Jorge De La Rosa. He can handle that atmosphere.
Extremely competitive, and now he's got a 1-strike count on Morse. Boy, he's not right, George.
No, that's the thing about it. I mean, Jimmy and Walt are all talking about it right now. They'll set this thing up, whether it's Kane Lee or who they're going to go to on it. You can see he's trying to go get all he's got to get out of this inning right here, and then you can see him turn around like, yeah, not wanting that dugout to see it. You're going to be smart about this, too.
0-2. Try to cut her, and it's 1-2. And the bullpens are right down the foul lines. Nobody running down there just yet.
Yeah, and with an injury, you get all the time you want to warm up, but if there's any inkling they'll make a move, typically there'd be somebody down there.
1-2. That's a good changeup. The body naturally compensates when one muscle group or part of the body's not firing or feeling right, and that's what you don't want. That's when you really get a significant injury.
To another part you don't want hurt.
Right. This ball is dropped into right, a breaking ball, and that'll tie it up. So Morse with a 2-out single, and it's 2-2.
Well, that dugout of the Giants has been doing a lot of that lately. A lot of high fives with 2-out base hits. Breaking ball just broke right to the center. Not much down plane to it. And Morris is able to take it to right field.
Hector Sanchez at the plate.
130 two-out base hits that resulted in a run. Crazy.
45% of their runs scored this year have come with 2 outs.
Wow.
Sanchez played in 150 big league games entering the season. He hit well in the minor leagues in the Giants organization at .290 average.
Walt Weiss standing with Tommy Ronalds and Keith Duggar in the background watching every move of Jorge so far.
2-0, pulled into left for a base hit.
Now, one thing about when your back starts to stiffen, the hardest thing to do is get great extension to the plate. Your finish is going to be upright. And you see the finish of Jorge De La Rosa right now. You don't see the strong over-the-top finish. You see more of an upright. See right here, you see that finish. See how he straightened up on that back leg. The upper half of his body never got over the front side. An elevation of that pitch result a base hit.
Brandon Hicks struck out last inning. They're 2 on, 2 outs, 2 runs in.
Not much speed on the base paths right now, but if you think back, Jimmy Wright's going out now. He's going to, you know what? I want you to look me in the eye and tell me what you feel. Moline's looking in the dugout.
It's always very difficult for a coach, for a manager, because 99% of athletes, unless they are really, really hurting, they're going to look you in the eye because they want to continue. They want to stay out there and compete. They're going to tell you they can't.
The person you saw in the dugout moving his arms quickly, moving to get loose, is Tommy Kahnle getting ready if the numbers call for him to go to the bullpen.
Rockies have continued to keep an extra man in the bullpen out on this road trip. Just 4 position players on the bench. Now Kahnle's going to jog down there. 2-0. And a breaking ball misses, and it's 3-0. Rockies have not caught many breaks on the injury front, have they?
No, they have not.
And Hicks turned loose, 3-0. And Rosario hoping for a play, won't have one. Rockies got 2 in the top of the 3rd. The Giants with 2 here in the bottom of the 3rd. 3-2 on Hicks. And this one also popped foul and out of play.
Yeah, an unorthodox swing, well out on the front foot, trying to take a swing at that pitch offered by De La Rosa. Well, about all he could do is foul it off.
3-2. Swung on and missed, and De La Rosa gets Hicks again with traffic. But 2 runs in the inning for the Giants. 2-2 as we go to the 4th. Kinds of hits. Corey Dickerson lining a double to left center field. Give the Rockies a quick jump 2 days ago. Actually, that was a triple. But Corey Dickerson swinging a hot bat in the homestand, looking to continue that trend here in San Francisco. Check out your local Maaco for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $449. Visit Maaco.com today. Dickerson, Rutledge, LeMahieu. We know this much, that Jorge De La Rosa went right down the stairs toward the Rockies clubhouse. It's down a flight of stairs and then up a bigger flight of stairs to get to the clubhouse. That doesn't positively indicate anything just yet, though Tommy Kahnle has continued to throw. And there's De La Rosa back in the dugout.
Yeah, you see Jim Wright kind of shaking his head no. So I think that's an indication he's probably done.
You're looking at the rotation, other than Juan Nicasio, every single starter has gotten hurt at some point.
Well, you got to build a lot of depth. You hope you do, but there's a lot of depth being tested right now. And quite honestly, with the exception of the youngster from Tulsa, Eddie Butler, the other 2 guys have pitched very well. Bergman pitched 6 innings, 2 runs. The other night, Tyler Matzek gets stuck with 2, but 7 shutout.
He was terrific.
Yeah, he's outstanding. First professional start in his career to not walk a batter in a game. How about that?
And of course, Butler's right now, though he's with the club, is on the DL. Talked to Eddie this afternoon, and he hopes to maybe play a little catch tomorrow. Brett Anderson is improving. He's on the right. Tyler Chatwood in the middle. They're both
well, they're blowing and going on flat ground, and they'll be on the bullpen this weekend.
Yep, which is a big step. Inside 3-2. I thought that pitch was pretty close. According to the Ford strike zone, it was strike 3.
Yeah, but on a high breaking ball, most umpires aren't going to give you that. If it breaks from the way out of the zone to the top of the strike zone, you're not going to get that call. This ball served to left field pretty deep, but Morse has room, and he makes the catch.
One out. Time for a Mazda game break. We check in with Mark Stout back in Denver. Mark? Yeah, Clayton Kershaw. Rocky saw him last week. He's thrown the ball very, very well. Rutledge takes a breaking ball inside. Rudd hit the ball well to center field. It was an out, but a Goodwood AB, his first time up, or Guab, as Frazier used to like to call it.
He hadn't missed many, I'll tell you that. They've thrown him in, thrown him out. And what impressed me is he's gotten squared up a couple of times. He got it the other day with Atlanta. He got it over in Philadelphia, meaning that got hit by pitches. It has not intimidated his way of playing the way he's playing the game right now. He's staying on a lot of pitches. Good breaking ball there from Lincecum.
And a strikeout of Rutledge. Third strikeout for Lincecum. And that'll bring up LeMahieu.
Yeah, it looked like the bottom dropped out of it. It appeared to be the changeup more than anything. Really circle change. Pronates heavily to the inside to get that late movement.
Tyler Matzik has come out in the on-deck circle with only 4 position players. If it does get past LeMahieu here with 2 outs, in just the 4th inning, Walt doesn't want to burn one of his 4 position players, so he'll have Matzik hit. Ball and a strike. That is fair.
I think it's a foul ball.
I thought it went foul.
And I will say this: I want to see where the ball was caught, because, quite honestly, if it's caught out in front of first base, it's not his call. It's not Chris Siegel's call. It's Mike Winter's call, because it's in front of the bag.
And you know what? From that position, it looks like it's right on the line, which would make it fair.
Yep. Yeah, Walt's satisfied.
It'll stand up, so DJ LeMahieu is out 3 unassisted. Middle of 4, Rockies 2, Giants 2. Back to AT&T right after this. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Escape. Smart, safe, and fun to drive. Ford Escape, go further. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning in a 2-2 ball game, and Tommy Kahnle is going to have to take over for Jorge De La Rosa. We're assuming just by the way De La Rosa moved that it was a back injury that is preventing him from continuing. We'll get more as soon as we have it from downstairs. So Tommy Kahnle, who's been very good in the middle innings, will be inserted in that role again. But here's one of the differences, George. Normally when he comes in, it's usually with the Rockies having a deficit. He's in a situation right now where he's in a 2-2 ball game.
Well, you got to hold the lead. He's got to calm the force and just get after it right here, pitching the bottom half of their lineup.
Center field, stay up for Stubbs at will. And Adrianza's the first out.
And how good has he been? 15 of 25, been multiple inning outings. 33 in the third, leads the club as relief innings pitched. And I said this before when Tommy was first came over to the Rockies, and I think it's worth noting again. To John Weil, pro scouting director, Jack Gillis, Will George, Ty Kozlow, Damon Ionelli. These were the guys that saw him, had the great reports on him, convinced them to make that move. Pat Doherty, who had the Eastern League last year for the Rockies as far as scouting the pro side of it. And to convince Dan O'Dowd and ownership to pull the trigger to spend the money to go get Tommy Kahnle. And it's been a great investment. Very good scouting.
Absolutely. That's a tremendous job. Tommy Kahnle, a big arm that has avoided what plagued him a little bit in the Yankee system, and that is a high walk rate. And a good find.
Well, by the way, congratulations to the Tulsa Drillers. They won the Texas first half, so they will be in the playoffs no matter what. They followed that up with a 2-1 win tonight. Tyler Anderson, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, no walks. Ryan Arrowwood got the win. Cole White to save.
And it's good to see Tyler back out there. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Lincecum. You can swing at that, Tim. Come on. 2-2. And a changeup, and Lincecum is gone. 2 outs as we check in again with Jenny. Jenny, what do you have?
Hey Drew, it is a Toyota Talk Night. Don't forget to tweet us your questions at RootSports_RN. We're going to go to one right now from Mike. Mike wants to know, where is Pacheco? Well, Jordan Pacheco was designated for assignment at the beginning of the Rockies' last homestand, and news coming down yesterday that he was claimed off waivers from the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Jordan Pacheco still in the division in the National League West. He's just playing for the Diamondbacks now. And if you're wondering what Jordan thought of you Rockies fans, well, I went to Jordan Pacheco's Twitter page and he said, crazy times right now. This was yesterday as everything was going down. Rock Nation, thank you for the love. Excited to start a new adventure. And I actually heard from Jordan's mom, and she wanted to make sure to thank all the Rockies fans out there. All the staff at Coors Field, she said, the Rockies definitely embraced their family, and they were so appreciative of everything. And they will continue to follow the organization, even though Jordan is now a Diamondback. Guys?
Yeah, we wish Jordan well. Real good guy and a very good player. And he's going to have a new home in Arizona. And you're right, the Pacheco family always around the ballpark. His sister lives in the Denver area. Parents, mom and dad, they looked him up from Albuquerque. Wasn't a bad deal. One ball and 1 strike on Angel Pagan.
One other thing, too, is Wilt Lopez has cleared waivers and has been outrighted to AAA Colorado Springs. He's pitching there right now.
Just missed 2-1. So Lopez will stay with the organization. I think Huey mentioned it during the pregame show that Jordan hit over 300 in his career against Arizona.
And a lot of people are banking that he could come back and hit the way he hit a couple of years ago when he was 5th in the National League. I've always been a big fan of Jordan Pacheco. He can really help you out at first, third, behind the plate, to play left field in a pinch. Good guy to swing the bat, bunt, hit behind runners. It just wasn't room here, and it didn't work out for him. Good luck to him.
Yep,
Hope it all works out.
Yep, it's a good baseball player. 3 balls and a strike on Pagan, who doubled off the center field wall to begin that rally last inning. That produced a couple of runs and got the Giants even with the Rockies. And on 3-1, he went changeup. And a walk to Pagan, who has 11 stolen bases in 13 attempts. Well, for a team that hasn't attempted a stolen base in more than 13 games, you would think this may be a logical place.
Well, either that or with Pence up at the plate, try to shoot the ball through the right side. Try to go first to third with Posey coming up, and then Sandoval Morris, all with 2 outs. It seems like when they start to hit.
Tell you one thing, whenever you see Hunter Pence, you better be careful with the first pitch fastball.
Oh, man. I mean, it's just like he sets dead red anyway. But he looks at middle half in fastball. It's where Wallin has gone to set up.
Runner takes off, and the throw to second is going to get Pence. Great throw by Rosario. Get Pagan. Beautiful throw from Rosario. So the streak for the Giants of not attempting a stolen base is over. They probably wish they didn't go. Perfect throw. And then the top of the order. From parks and pools to wilderness and trails, every single Colorado Lottery game you buy helps fund the places Colorado plays. And Colorado Lottery thanks you very much for that. Here's Canely against Lincecum. Tommy doesn't get a lot of ABs.
No, but they're fun when you get them. You know, as a relief pitcher, you put on the gloves, you got the helmet. Hey, swing hard, look good while you're doing it. Most of the time, though, you hear me say this, when the relief pitchers haven't swung the bat, regardless who's on the mound, you go up and take the first pitch. If it's a ball, you take the second pitch. Trying to work your way on base.
I'll tell you this much. If Tommy could throw out a hit here, George, he'll move the average to 500.
There you go.
Of course, he doesn't have an average right now.
Exactly.
And he will be 0 for 2 for the season as Pence closes the glove on that. Subaru brings you the manager's challenge each night. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used to determine the outcome. It's brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So Canely is gone, and Charlie Blackmon, who's 0 for 1 on a walk with a run scored, will take his turn.
A lot of times when the sun sets, the wind will diminish, but not so far here at the ballpark. Still blowing out hard to right center.
That's line foul.
Watch your lips.
Let's tell this story. When they built AT&T, it was during Barry Bonds' prime, and they thought they were constructing a ballpark that was tailor-made for his left-handed power. Well, obviously, Barry could hit him out of any ballpark. But it was 309, and it is 309 down the line, 365 to direct right field. And then it goes out to, it's known as Triples Alley, 421. With the wind, they didn't do him any favors. It is really hard to hit the ball out here, even for a left-handed pull hitter.
Yeah, they didn't do anything to make it like happy to show up and play at this ballpark, because it realistically, with the wind, it just beat it down more than it helped it.
I've told this story before too. I remember walking in one time with Helton, and it was about the third or fourth time the Rockies had been to AT&T, and we're talking about the ballpark, and Helton said, I don't think I even hit any out in BP yet. Two and two on Charlie. And if you're wondering about last night's situation with Walt Weiss, and Carpenter, and Dickerson, and Nick Massett, at least from Walt's standpoint, he was asked during his press conference today, had you heard from the league? And he said, nope, I haven't heard from anybody.
Maybe they won't. It's the old-fashioned way. It was taken care of, and it's over with. Of course, I'm sure the league's reviewing all the film for the incident. That's the way he usually operates.
3-2, hit pretty well, but right at Pagan in center. I mean, he didn't have to move an inch. That'll bring up Drew Stubbs with 2 outs and nobody on. Who's Hot is brought to you by Weber. Weber, serious grills for unserious times. Drew Stubbs last year in Cleveland hit .233. He's hitting .319 this year. Brandon Barnes, .240 last year in Houston. This year, he's hitting .311. Guys that have made significant improvement with their new clubs. Stubbs got behind in his last at bat, 0-2, and he got the count even and then ripped a single left.
Moving inside with the fastball, left it out over the plate.
Talking to Drew about his education at Texas before the game. He's a business management major, and even though he was drafted high in the first round after his junior year, he doesn't have many credits left, and he's going to start finishing that degree this offseason. And this ball bounced foul. He was a tremendous student in high school, second in his class, and a very good student at UT, which is a terrific school.
They're all good. I haven't found a bad one yet.
No, you know what? Whatever you put into it, right, George?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm still shocked. I got 3 that graduated from college.
Swung on and missed, and a 1-2-3 fifth inning, 7 in a row now set down by Lincecum. Looks like that could be his brother.
Bottom of the 5th. And we welcome you back to a Fan Friday. Don't forget to hashtag your questions with a Toyota Talk at @RootSports_RM is where you can find us. Let's go to the board here. Doug has a question. Do you think Troy will put up stats like Jeter has had in his career? Of course, he's talking about Troy Tulowitzki. Let's take a look at the numbers through 933 games, which is what Tulo had under his belt coming into the game today. Jeter's average was better, 320, but look at Troy's power, 172 home runs compared to the 99 home runs, more RBIs, a better slugging percentage, etc. But of course, Derek Jeter, well, he has an edge. 725 more games played than Troy Tulowitzki, and at the age of 40 in his 20th year. As George mentioned earlier, the Yankees in town across the bay playing at Oakland, and for Troy, that's his hero, Derek Jeter. This year in Jeter's final Major League Baseball season, Troy is kind of dedicating his game in some way to Jeter by wearing a Derek Jeter wristband during the game. So, guys, I'll pose you that question. Do you think that Tulo's going to have Jeter-like numbers when all is said and done?
It will take good health and the same kind of longevity that Jeter has achieved.
20 years is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. I mean, you're talking Derek Jeter's well over 3,000 hits, but in terms of Hall of Fame talent, there is no question that Troy Tulowitzki has Hall of Fame talent. And there are not many guys you'd say that about. I mean, you don't just throw that around in a cavalier manner.
What's interesting, I had Sue downstairs in the truck, Sue Strand, look up for me. At this time in their career, Jeter 1,197 hits. Troy Tulowitzki, 1,038. Very comparable.
Yes. Good job by Canely. Strikes out Hence, first out in the 5th inning. We have received news from the Rockies clubhouse. Jorge De La Rosa left with what we thought lower back tightness. He did finish the inning after the Rockies came out and checked on him. It was the 3rd inning. So De La Rosa went only 3 innings. He gave up a couple runs on 5 hits, walked 2. One of those walks intentional. He struck out 3. And we'll see if it clears up in time, and hopefully it does, for him to make his next start, which is scheduled later on in the trip in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and that's the key to it. I mean, as you get into these cooler nights like it is here in San Francisco, temperatures drop, things start to tighten. Of course, it's all speculation, but yeah, hopefully they can get the spasms slowed down and they put him in a pretty good spot. Back-to-back 95-mile-an-hour fastballs from Tommy Canely, an 0-2 count.
Buster Posey, fly ball right field, and the ground ball to third. And off of Canely, and Posey's going to reach.
Anytime you fall off first base side, the only way you can react to a ball is try to backhand it. See Canely's momentum going that way. Tried to, and it hit right off the end of the webbing. And with Posey's speed, even with the ankle injury, he's an above average runner for his catcher, able to beat it out.
That'll bring up Sandoval, 1 for 2. Single to right and a ground ball to short for Pablo. Off the plate, ball 1.
Very dangerous inner half. The way he cheats on the fastball. On the inner half of the plate, this is where I think Canely's changeup could be an asset with this at bat. Sand the ball up. Really spin. See, that's what happened. I mean, he really spun off of that changeup at 86 miles an hour.
He chipped the end of the bat.
Right off the end of it.
The bat the bat boy brought out.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, didn't meet the standards of Panda, so he pointed to another one.
Every batter typically will have, during the course of the game, 5 bats in their rack out there with their number on it. Sometimes they'll number them with their number like 48-1, 48-2, what they want brought out. Every time they go to the plate, a lot of bat boys will bring out that spare bat and lean it against the fence just for that purpose. See, that's a danger zone. He got one that he could really turn on him because of the velocity. He was able to get it by. Really sets up well for a changeup here. Challenged him right at him. Dead red, but that's right into that power zone of Pablo Sandoval.
Do you have a strong lower half or what?
Yeah, that's like tree trunk standing at home plate. Big old solid oak tree.
1 and 2 on Panda. See if they go soft here like you advised. They do. Change up and slowly hit to Rutledge and they get the out. Yeah, it's like you pitched before, George.
It's amazing how you think along sometimes.
2 outs. Michael Morse will come up.
I just know a lot of times you get those free swingers at the plate. If you can sell it with good arm speed and good body action, you'll get the swing and not a good swing on the baseball. Hey, get to the ballpark early. Sunday, June 22nd, as the first 15,000 will receive a Tulo bobblehead gnome courtesy of Frontier Airlines. Arrive early. Gates will open 2 hours prior to the game time.
Morse a walk and a run-scoring single. Single against De La Rosa on a hanging curveball. Drove in the equalizer. 2-2 game, bottom of 5 in San Francisco.
It seems like every year when the Giants win, they get a player that's had success and kind of tailed off and then has success again. You think Aubrey Hupp that came over and just huge base hits during that first World Series that they won in 2010.
Boy, it fell off quickly for Aubrey Huff after that year, though, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he signed a 3-year deal for $21 million. He was never healthy again.
0-1, and this ball to center field, and this is going to drive in. Buster Posey, and then it gets past Stubbs. Morse's hat comes off. He's hunting third base, and the throw there is not going to get him. Michael Morse has driven in the Giants' third run. 3-2 San Francisco.
His 43rd run, concerned only because of his ability to hit the fastball.
Yeah, trying to go to that inner half, missed by a large margin, well out over the plate and elevated by Tommy Canely. Wheeleen wanted to jam him, take care of the hands, and wasn't able to. The ball got out over the plate, and as Stubbs got out to dive for the ball, it scooted by him, and then when he got to first, he saw the ball get by. He flipped the hat, let the hair fly in the wind, and scooted into third base.
Single E8, allowing Morse to go from first to third. Hector Sanchez at the plate. Giants up 3-2. They've out-hit the Rockies 7-3. Limit the damage here. I said earlier that there are many who believe within their organization that their MVP's been Michael Morse, and he hasn't heard his candidacy for that mythical award with 2 RBI night. Drove in the tying run with 2 outs, and he just drove in the go-ahead run, all with 2 outs. That's the story of the Giants season.
131 different times they've done that. That they have knocked in a run with 2 outs. That leads the major leagues.
One on Sanchez. That's out over the plate. That's foul back 1-2.
Pagan and Pence talking an awful lot, the offensive and defensive side of who's coming up.
Good pitch. Strike 3 on the changeup. And Wheeleen lobs to Morneau. In the inning, a 2-out hit by Morse gives San Francisco a 3-2 lead as we go to the 6th. Paying for checking is a thing of the past. Get First Bank free checking at efirstbank.com. 3-2 San Francisco as we go to the 6th inning. Justin Morneau drove in both runs with a 2-out single back in the 3rd. Michael Morse, as we've been discussing, has had a very good night for the Giants again, and Jorge De La Rosa had to leave after 3 innings with lower back tightness. Tulowitzki's going to lead it off against Lincecum in the 6th. Lincecum's retired 7 in a row. And then Morneau and Wheeleen Rosario. Rockies had gotten 2 straight 7+ inning performances from first Tyler Matzek, and then yesterday from Jhoulys Chacín, his best outing and performance of the year. And tonight, unfortunately, with De La Rosa, who typically goes well into the evening, gone after 3 innings, that little stretch ends. The Rockies, when they do get a start of 7+ innings from one of their pitchers, it hasn't been frequent enough, as you all know, but when they do, they're really good. 11-1, which is the best record in baseball. Some things never change, do they, George?
You can pitch it, you can catch it, you're going to win a lot of baseball games. The Rockies #1 offensively, last in pitching right now.
Here's the 1-0. Troy had a healthy cut there, 1-1.
Club just gave you a 3-2 lead. The last thing Lincecum wants to do is to walk Tulowitzki and then have to face Morneau, the other hitter in the Rockies lineup that has given him a tough time in this ball game. Count even 1-1 on 2 fastballs, one at 90, ball 1. The second one was 91. He's back at 93 and misses.
Inside, 3-1. Talking to that man, good guy. He's been in baseball a long time. Ronnie Wotus, longtime bench coach for Bruce Bochy. And he was saying the 3 best teams that he feels he's seen this year that the Giants have played. He said the Nationals, he thinks, are outstanding, and they're playing right now, obviously, without Bryce Harper, and have been for a while, 3-2.
Boy, he tried to jump on this fastball at 89 miles an hour.
And the other 2 teams, as you look at this replay, that
yeah, look at this pitch to Tulo, a very upright hitter. Looking at this thing belt high, he was going to jump right on this thing. Man, oh man.
The other 2 teams he mentioned, he said when the Rockies were healthy last time they saw him, he said, I thought the Rockies, along with the Dodgers and the Nats, the 3 best teams he'd seen. That's down the line, just foul. I was looking at road batting averages today, for the Rockies, and Nolan Arenado, who's out, as we all know, hitting .340 on the road. Michael Kadire, who's out, hitting .282 out on the road. A couple of big omissions, not to mention, of course, Carlos Gonzalez, who really hasn't been healthy this year. Strike 3 on the corner. Tulowitzki looks back, says something to Mike Winters, and walks off. Real close pitch. It looked like he got the 4th strike zone.
Yeah, a sequence of pitches, 3 fastballs in a row, curveball, fastball change, and then the last pitch on the knees, a pitcher's pitch. A fastball at 92 miles an hour right on the outside corner.
8 in a row set down by Lincecum. Shift is on for Morneau. Outside ball 1 on Justin.
You see Pablo seen Sanchez turning a lot of sideways tonight. A lot of balls buried in the dirt. Well, he may have caught the rib cage.
Change up on 2-0. It's 2-1. 3-2. Last year, the Giants fell to 76 and 86. Kind of an aberration for them after capturing world titles in 2012 and 2010. And they have the game's best record entering play tonight. Swung on and missed. Lincecum on one of those rolls now. He struck out 3 in a row, 6 for the ball game, and he has retired 9 straight. Willeen Rosario coming up as we check in again with Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
All right, Drew, it's loyalty check time here on a Fan Friday. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Thomas Stevens said, got it today. The hashtag Toyota Talk, which you should. Check this out, guys. George, you got anything like this?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, from what your playing days? You just have a Yankees tattoo on your arm?
No.
How good is that?
Well, you know what, George, truth be told, George does not have the CR tattoo. He doesn't have any tattoos, but it certainly looked like one of Frazier's arms.
Yes. Yeah, about 25 years ago.
Fan for life. Hashtag fan
Absolutely.
for life.
That's right.
I like that. Pretty cool. It's a towering fly ball down the right field line. It's going to be foul, though.
I think all of us should get one.
You go
Jenny,
first.
you go first.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Huh?
I was just going to say the same thing to you.
You go first.
I'll follow you.
Tattoos are huge now. The tats weren't big
Yes,
when you were growing up.
No, huh? Really weren't, but they are now.
You know, as I said, when you were growing up.
Right.
On the ground to Lincecum, and Lincecum get the assist.
This looks like the guy we watched in 08-09. He's pretty special right now.
And he's on quite a roll. He's retired 10 straight. The Giants have a 3-2 lead, middle of 6. What's next? Here's the schedule for the rest of the month of June. The Rockies will be in Los Angeles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, an off day on Thursday, and then it's a 6-game homestand against the Central, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, and then it's off to Milwaukee. Well, right now the Rockies have to keep it a 3-2 game and try to figure out a way to get after Tim Lincecum. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Matt Belisle takes over on the hill for the Rockies. Tommy Kahnle pitched 2 innings. He gave up. Oh, let me correct that. I was told it was Belisle. I didn't look up. My bad. It's still Tommy Kahnle.
Belisle is warming up down in the bullpen now, so that tells me pitch-wise. And again, Drew mentioned this early in the ball game. The Rockies with only a 4-person bench right now. That makes it tough when you pick where you do your double switch to try to get more innings out of your bullpen. So maybe an inning at a time right now. The pitcher for the Rockies is not due up for 4 batters in the next inning. So they may try to, hopefully, get Kahnle through this inning. He's thrown 30 pitches so far, 19 strikes. He's not gone beyond 2 innings very often. Good hard slider, strike 1.
Brandon Hicks Hicks 2 punch outs. Juan Gutierrez is throwing in the San Francisco bullpen. And it's 0-2. Rockies have 3 hits. They all came in that 2-run 3rd inning. The only other time they had a base runner was the 1st inning with 2 outs, Tulowitzki walked, but Morneau grounded out.
The Giants 7 hits, 4 of those came in the 1 inning. They scored a couple of runs. Yeah, that's again missing with the fastball. You know, it doesn't look like Moline maybe got a clean swipe at that, but he couldn't have caught it if he wanted to. It was mid-90s fastball that he expected to be on the inner half of the plate, and it's a foot outside and up.
And a slider that was misplaced also, but it still produces the strikeout of Hicks. 4th strikeout for Canely since he came aboard, and that'll bring up A-Ray Adrianza.
Celebrate Independence Day with the Rockies after the Rockies-Dodgers game July 4th. Stay for the best fireworks show in town. I'm going to extend that in Major League Baseball, courtesy of Coca-Cola and King Soopers. Tickets going very quickly for these dates, so make sure you get there. On July 4th, get your tickets to the Fireworks Day, the best show in Major League Baseball. It's going to help a quick outing here. Get rid of it. Didn't.
Now the guys in the bullpen have to scatter. It's being chased by Rutledge. Wow, that was an interesting decision. Adrianza was halfway to 3rd base. He would have made it easily, and he just put on the brakes and went back to 2nd.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one. That's not picking up Tim Flannery.
He could have made it there standing up. Now Canely commits the Rockies' 2nd error of the ball game, and this one's costly. You got 2 outs, nobody on if he completes this play.
I wonder what Bochy wants to check on. He just wanting to find something out here. Ball's over his head. Here he goes around looking up. Nobody in his way there. I don't know what he's looking at. Stepped right in the middle of the bat. Why did he put on the brakes?
I don't get that.
Well, Bochy, what are they checking on? What could they be checking on? Was the ball touched down in the bullpen? You think that's what they're asking about, Drew?
Well, there's nobody interfered with the runner.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody interfered with the runner. What are they doing? Well, they're going to go look at something, that's for sure.
No. They're returning
not.
to positions.
Yeah, Boats will go to his bench. So he's going to bring on the pinch hitter now.
It's going to be Colvin,
yep,
Tyler Colvin.
Yep, Tyler Colvin with 1 out and a runner at 2nd.
That's one of the things that's different about how they handle Lincecum now, George. He's retired 10 straight. And when it gets to the late innings with the strength of the bullpen, a few years ago, Lincecum would stay on in all likelihood. Instead, they'll go to Colvin, who's done a good job. He's being called up after Brandon Belt was injured, the former Rocky and Chicago Cub.
He's looking for his first hit as a pinch hitter. 254 average, though. Overall. Matt Belisle appears to be ready in the Rockies bullpen. An errant throw by Canely. You hope it doesn't come back to haunt you.
Swinging strike 2. Rosario imploring Canely to get the ball down. Do you see what he did there, George?
Well, he's asking the ball down and in. I mean, he's tried to come in 3 times. Once it hurt him. Morris, the baseball hit the right field and drove in the go-ahead run. Well, he knows Tyler Colvin, very good high ball, fastball hitter.
Come in there, but it's up, and it's 1-2. How pretty is this?
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? You get a lot of sights at this ballpark. I'm looking out over the flagpoles here in right center and seeing the
This will not happen again until 2049.
What?
How about that? Full moon on Friday the 13th.
2049. That's a long time from now, Drew.
Look out. Stubbs makes the catch. Yeah, it would be 35 years from now.
That's a long time. That's a really long time. So that means my mom probably saw it the last time it happened, huh?
Absolutely.
She's 95.
Yeah, absolutely, your mom did. And the way your mom's going, she's going to see it in 2049.
I'm telling you. Whew. God love her.
I'm looking forward. We're going to see Mom in St. Louis. You promised,
Yeah, I
right?
promise. I hope she comes. She told me she was going to come up in September. Looking forward to it. She's looking forward to sitting in the booth and watching a little baseball.
All right, that sounds like a good game plan. 2 outs, and the game plan right now for Kahnle is to get Angel Pagan. Pagan is 1 for 2 and a walk. He doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. Adrianza's at second. Little things are always so significant in a ballpark that does not relinquish many runs.
The other day, first AM when Atlanta was here, the Rockies pitchers took PFP practice for about an hour out on the field. Little drills just like what happened there. Uncomfortable to throw it to first. You get there, and I call it the Fahibs. I mean, the arm just doesn't want to let it go. You end up firing it over the head or in the dirt, and you just don't want it to cost you another run in the ball game. He's able to work through it so far. It has 2 outs in the inning.
Way inside. 1-1. You will never move quicker than when a 94-mile-an-hour fastball is coming at your body.
Well, yeah, and that one in the upper half of the body, too. That's what really gets your attention when you kind of lean over the plate. It might undress the hairdo a little bit.
Has a changeup right behind it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kahnle in his 3rd inning of work in relief of Jorge De La Rosa. Again, back tightness, lower back tightness. Jorge was relieved after 3 innings. Whether or not he makes his next start will all come down to whether he can throw and have a bullpen in a couple of days. Swung on and missed. Good job by Kahnle. And a nice job by Rosario digging that one out of the dirt. Big punch out with Adriana at second base. 5 strikeouts for Kahnle in 3 innings of work. 3-2 San Francisco. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies, and by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The unmistakable city of San Francisco on a Friday night. Rockies trailing 3-2 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. With George Frazier and Jenny Cavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. Pitching change for the Giants. Lincecum was pinch hit for. And Mr. Gutierrez will take over. The bullpen for the Giants has been very special this year, but it typically is special.
It is. 29 2/3 innings, an earned run average of 2.73. He's yet to be scored upon here at home. 14 2/3 scoreless innings. The opponents just 125 with runners in scoring position, so he's made pitches when he needed to. Only 1 of 12 inherited runners, not the situation here, just giving you an overall view of the way he has pitched. He's been very, very good for this ball club.
Lincecum threw 100 pitches even in 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, couple walks, 6 strikeouts. And Gutierrez misses up high on Dickerson. Fly ball to right and a fly ball to left for Corey. Three-sport star in high school, growing up in Mississippi. 2-guard in basketball. Was a quarterback for a long time, then he hurt his shoulder. Inside, 2-0. Seven of the last 8 ball games played between the Rockies and Giants here at AT&T have been 1-run affairs. And the Rockies, unfortunately, of those 7 one-run games, are 1-6. They've lost 15 of 18 here in San Francisco. Bruce Bochy's team, for 3 weeks straight now, the best record in Major League Baseball. 3-0, you got to be taken here, and it's a strike. 3-1. That's the difference in the ballpark, George. At Coors Field, as hot as Dickerson is, with the ability to hit it out, you can turn him loose. 3-0. Here, it doesn't make as much sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, here's a little bit different story.
And that was a borderline strike as it was. He had a little drop and drive on that swing. 3-2. The day after every Rockies win, get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. You're sitting at home right now enjoying the Rockies game. Enter promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com right now. Jeremy Affeldt throwing for Bochy in their bullpen. Their pen whip, walks plus hits per inning pitch, 1.04. How good is that? What would be the best for any bullpen in baseball if it were to stand up for the whole season in 49 years.
Yeah, think about what Drew just said, folks. I mean, this bullpen has been some kind of special.
Let's go back to the 65 Chicago White Sox when they had a 1.00 whip. Last time for a whole season. I've seen that stat any lower than what the Giants have compiled so far. And they've done it lately without Santiago Casilla, and he's coming back early next week. He got hurt at Coors Field. And this is in the air to fairly deep left field, but Morse is there, 1 out. Last base runner for the Rockies, Justin Morneau, that 2-run single with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Rockies have not had a base runner since, as we visit again with Jenny Kapnar. Jenny?
All right, thanks, Drew. We're taking fans' questions on a Fan Friday. Don't forget to send yours in. Hashtag Toyota Talk at Root Sports _ and we'll go to Parker Browning. Wants to do a little farm report with Frazier. So we'll let Frazier answer this question. How are Herrera, Trevor Story, and David Dahl doing this year? George, you got some answers?
I do have some answers for you. Story is in Modesto, hitting .323, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs. Now, he got hit on the hand, missed a little bit of time. Herrera just came back off the disabled list. He's hitting .310 with a couple of home runs and 14 RBIs. He had some wrist issues that he went down to Scottsdale, got straightened out. David Dahl having a very good year in Asheville, .279 with 10 home runs and 30 RBIs. And I know that they didn't ask about this player, but I'm going to brag a little bit because I'm really proud of Chris O'Dowd right now playing in Modesto, hitting .300, 13 stolen bases.
That's
has swung the bat,
impressive.
has swung the bat very, very well, batting leadoff, catching and DHing there in Modesto. He's done a great job.
Well, Chris is an unusual commodity in that he's a switch-hitting catcher who runs really well. And his last 2 ball games, he's 6 for 8 with a couple of home runs. And the Cal League doesn't generally produce high averages.
It's a difficult park to hit in everywhere there. I mean, the only short porch is Stockton's got a short porch not far from here in San Francisco.
2-strike count on Rutledge.
Once you get over to Lancaster, and where the wind just howls, there was games actually canceled in Lancaster. That's where the Astros high A team is. They sent Appel, their first-round pick there to start the year. After a mid-7 ERA, he asked to go back to extended and get some things straightened out. So he went back to Florida. But they have canceled game there with the winds up to 65 miles an hour. Down in Lancaster, down by L.A.
Strike 3 on Rutledge. He didn't much like that call. And that's 2 outs.
When you get expanded like this, it makes it really, really hard. Rutledge thought that ball was in because, the thing about it is Josh crowds home plate anyway. So when the ball's in, and you can see by the 4th strike zone, it is in 5 to 6 inches and above the hands.
Should also mention, in addition to Trevor Story and Christopher O'Dowd doing real well in Modesto, Rosell Herrera's back healthy again and swinging the bat. And you were talking about that, George. And down in Asheville, there's a number of players that are having good seasons in Asheville.
Well,
in addition to Dahl, Ryan McMahon is one of them. Tapia also. Raimel Tapia.
Well, the sad part about when the injury bug hits the upper level, the big leagues, it affects all the way down because you start emptying out. And then, of course, the loss of Dan Winkler in Tulsa to Tommy John, that sets things in a tailspin. So the Rockies minor league system out looking for a lot of pitchers any way you can find them right now. They signed Tomko the other day, the 41-year-old out of the Royals system who had just been released. He actually opted out of his deal. They signed another guy who'd been in big leagues, Burroughs. This ball's hit well, wrong part of the ballpark.
Pagan's got it. 13 Rockies in a row have been set down. Rosa gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning, and the reason we show you that pitch, which was fouled off by Michael Morse, he felt back pain there, or tightness. They checked on him. He would finish the inning, gave up the 2 runs in the inning, and then had to depart. He is, yes, day to day. Rockies had a 2-0 lead briefly in the top of the 3rd. Justin Morneau, a bases-loaded 2-run single with 2 outs. That is the last base runner, however, for the Rockies. Michael Morse 2 for 2, a couple of RBIs, including the tying and go-ahead ribbies tonight for the Giants as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's the Cooney Lexus look back, where Luxury has a new address in Greenwood Village and Colorado Springs. Hunter Pence will lead it off, and the Rockies have brought on 6'7" Chris Martin in the 7th.
Explosive stuff. I think getting settled in on the big leagues. First time he's been there. He's pitched for the Rockies now, making 9 appearances on the season. They pitched at AAA this year. 14 ball games, 21 strikeouts in 14 2/3 innings against just 5 walks. He has struck out 11 in 10 2/3 here.
Fastball just inside, ball 1. Crowd's been announced. 1-0 to Pence is in there, 1-1. 41,258. And the sellout streak continues. It now moves to 282 straight sellouts here in San Francisco. One ball, 2 strikes on Pence, product of the University of Texas Arlington in the Southland Conference.
Well, another team that will be joining the Southland next year, Abilene Christian.
Got a shortstop recruit that we know well.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Absolutely. Cody Houston going down there next year. 2-2. Dad's already plotted out the Rockies schedule, even though it hasn't come out for next year, and all the different routes, both air, car, and train to Abilene, Texas.
Yeah, difficult time when you've got a couple of sons, one playing hockey, one playing baseball, to try to figure out how you're going to maneuver your way around to get to see as many as you can.
Chances are UConn doesn't play Abilene Christian in hockey.
I don't think so. I kind of doubt it.
Sorry, Hugh, you're out of luck on that one.
I play street hockey with the fraternity houses, but it's not happening on ice.
That's about it. 2-2 on Pence. It's tough for Hunter to get out of the way because he has such dramatic movement forward.
Right, so we call them divers. You know, he starts to come into a baseball and he really lifts up that front leg. That ball looked like it just hit the knob of the bat.
So the count remains 2-2. They set up away with the slider, and it's too far away. Pence doesn't offer. It's 3-2. Fastball, line down the right field line into that corner. Blackman goes to retrieve it, and Pence has a leadoff double against Chris Martin. His average is closing in on 300. He's another one of those guys that got off to a slow start this year.
The hardest thing is to try to set your defense to him. Because of his unorthodox swing, he's liable to take an inside fastball, pull it down the left field line, or take an outside pitch when he steps the other way and hit the ball to right field just inside the line past Morneau down into that corner. Well, that's what you hated or didn't want to see happen. Lead off run, man get on with a double right in the heart of their order.
Buster Posey had an infield hit, bounced one back to the mound and went off Canley's glove. By the time he recovered, Posey had reached. He's 1 for 3, takes a strike. Got to find a way to keep it a one-run game. Give yourself a chance against that Giant bullpen. You also got to vary your looks with Pence. He's not afraid to steal a bag. Buster Posey, the catching is worn on him to the point that it's affected his game offensively. Numbers have been down over the last full season, going back to the All-Star break the last year.
Not been the same guy.
No, he hasn't. That's why when you look back historically, a guy you played against, Johnny Bench and Pudge Rodriguez, even Piazza, I know he wasn't a great catcher, but to go back there, that's foul.
Yeah, but you know what? You say that about Mike. To me, Mike Piazza was a great receiver. He was a horrible thrower, but he could really call a game and block the ball and do those things with it. He just couldn't throw.
Yeah. But even discussing that, when you're in a Crouch, George, and you're responsible for the pitching staff, and then to be able to produce year after year offensively, there aren't many who could do that.
No, not many at all. And I think that's why Bochy, being a former catcher, is trying to relieve that pressure off Posey and put him at first as much as he can. DH in the interleague games.
This is on the ground. They're going to cross over. Tulowitzki wanted to go to DJ, but DJ's first movement was naturally to his left, and Troy didn't want to risk it as DJ was backpedaling to get to the bag.
Well, this is where you need one of those strikeouts coming up, too. DJ will move on his first instinct to the left to go get the ball, and then when Troy picked up, he looked. You're in a foot race. You can't hit DJ. Pence has already outran it. Get the out.
Good decision by Troy, because if he's trying to hit DJ, DJ's going to have to lunge and dive to get Pence, and you may be in a first and third nobody out situation.
A lot of bad things can happen then.
Yeah, might not have worked out. So now you pull the infield in, 1 out. Sandoval at the plate against the hard-throwing Martin. 1 for 3 tonight. Quite frankly, kind of a risky maneuver by Pence. The rule of thumb is if it's hit to the left side, it's got to be slow enough that you can cross in front. If it's hit sharply, which that ball was, you don't cross over. 1-1. That was a pitch very close.
I'll get another look at it here at home. I mean, you know, the only thing you can think of is down low, but the strike zone on the Ford strike zone tells you a strike. Big difference, 0-2, then 1-1. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, you know what? After looking at it the second time, you're right. It wasn't close. That was right there. This ball just fouled.
Second time Pablo's popped the bat in this game. He'll go to the dugout to get another one. This time the bat boys come out with 4. Here, you pick one. I'm tired of running back and forth.
He did.
Good, he ran out with 4 bats.
All right, listen.
I'm tired of picking one. You pick it. Here's all that you got left, all right? Pick
There you
one.
go. This is all that's left from Mel's Sporting Goods store.
Yeah, we're done. You're out. Go ahead. There's no more Babe Ruth models down here. Find something and swing it.
Remember when Tulowitzki was in a slump here, and he went to a Big 5 sporting goods store, and he came out, and the first 2 at-bats he hit with a Derek Jeter bat that he had bought at a local sporting goods store for $25.
See, there's all the bats. Huh.
Big pitch upcoming here. 1-2. on Sandoval. Ooh, oh, that kicks away. Here comes Pence, and it's 4-2.
All night long, Wallin Rosario has been beat up and keeping balls out in front of him and doing a wonderful job of it. And this one, once you see it from center field, we get a lot better look at this. I mean, that ball spun well out in front of home plate. That's just a hit or miss that you have any luck at keeping this one out in front of it. Because when you throw a hard breaking ball, the rotation is going to be extremely tight, so it's going to ricochet away from the body.
Wild pitch, and the dive by Rutledge. Base hit for Sandoval. That's what I mean by the Giants. They're hitting the ball much better this year. Their team batting average isn't anything to shout about. They just find ways to win, especially here in this ballpark.
No question they do, and whether it's big base hits, again, little things like this. You get a wild pitch, a ground ball base hit to the right side. You make a pretty nice pitch on Pence, and then line drive to right, a double. Just a lot of different things they do. They play very aggressive on the base paths, even though they don't steal a lot of bases.
Michael Morse coming up, and again, we visit with Jenny.
We just want to tell the fans out there, thanks for tweeting us tonight. You can continue the conversation at @RootSports_RM. Don't forget to hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll run some of those during the Toyota postgame show coming up. I just want you guys to know as we end this night, George, plenty of people want you to get that Rockies tattoo. They're egging you on. What do you say? Do it for the people. Do it for the fans.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
This guy doesn't think he'll do it. He hates needles. Said it's never not going to happen. He'll do it if you do it, but
who is the guy that said that?
Hashtag never going to happen.
Who said it?
JJ.
Tell JJ he goes first. I'll be right in the chair next to him.
You're such a chicken, George.
I'll buy his.
I'll tell you what, man. You keep talking, you may be in that chair.
That's all right. If I go, you're going.
I have a no tap policy. 1 ball, 1 strike. On Michael Morse.
I will say this. I did almost get a tattoo this one. Very close.
You told me that.
Teal ribbon for my daughter, Georgia, who is a cervical cancer survivor, teal being the color. I was going to get it on my right forearm, and it's with her name and the survivor on it.
That would have been a good deal.
Yeah, Parker got his. My son got his teal ribbon for Georgia. I was real busy that day.
Chip.
Now. So if I show up with one on my forearm at the All-State break, you'll know why.
Okay. You know who you should talk to? Talk to Barnesy. Brandon Barnes.
He's got a few.
He's got quite a few. He's got some good artwork going. 2-2 on Morse. 2 for 2 and a walk. And should be 2. Rockies turn it over, but the leadoff double by Pence hurts. He comes around on a wild pitch, and the Giants lead 4-2 as we go to the 8th. game one of 3 here in San Francisco, and the Giants lead the Rockies 4-2, top of the 8th inning. Here's our AT&T fan photo of the ball game. And I believe this is the 17th birthday for this young lady. Happy birthday. Celebrating at a Coors Field. It looks like she had a wonderful time. Tweet your photo to hashtag COFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you each night by our friends at AT&T. So the Rockies go to their bench and they have their catalyst up there. He's done such a great job. Wherever you ask him to play or whenever you call upon him, Brandon Barnes will pinch hit 9-1-2. Juan Gutierrez is still on the hill for the Giants. This normally would be Santiago Casillas' inning. And they're going to mix and match. Jeremy Affeld's been throwing for a while. He's ready. You have Blackmon on deck. There's the former Rocky Affeld. He's made himself, George, a lot of money working out of the bullpen here in San Francisco.
Well, in winning situations. You look right now, it's over 60% of the time he's pitching in a game with the lead. That's huge. You're able to get that with the double barrel of he and Lopez both.
The thing about Affeld is he can get righties out. Javi Lopez, more of the specialist of the two left-handers, but very effective against lefties is Lopez. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barnes. That's on the corner, 1-2. That was off the plate. Mike Winter's a good umpire, but he's had a floating type of zone tonight.
Inconsistent night.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Rockies without a hit since Morneau's 2-run single in the 3rd inning. They have 3 hits. All came in the 3rd inning. One of them was by De La Rosa. Stubbs has the other hit. You know, that pitch may have been better than the one that was called a strike.
So he made up, right?
All virtually in the same spot.
Off the plate, tried to pull in by Sanchez.
Go out there again, this time with a slider, and they get the punch out. 8 strikeouts tonight for the Giants against the Rockies. Bochy's going to go bring in Affeld. So Gutierrez faces 4 and he retires all 4. 4-2 San Francisco. 2, San Francisco. As there's one out in the 8th inning, Jeremy Affeldt getting ready to take over. Play the new Western Scratch games, Cash Stampede, Wild West Poker, and Colorado Crossword. Instant winning, endless possibilities. Here's the NL West standings brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. The Giants 8.5 in front of the Dodgers. The Rockies 11.5 back. And then the Diamondbacks and the Padres. So Jeremy Affeldt, who turned 35 a week ago, will face Charlie Blackmon. It'll be his 26th appearance, and those numbers are very good. League hitting just .215 against Affeldt.
Well, how about this? 22 of 25 appearances, has not allowed a run. Just 4 over the total of 22 innings so far this year. Right-handers 182, left-handers 257. When he first came out with the Kansas City Royals, there was comparisons of Frank Tanana before Tanana got hurt. It was 95 to 98, sweeping curveball, 20-game winner written all over. It didn't pan out, but boy, it sure has for him out of the bullpen.
Here's the 0-1. He's still got a good arm. That misses at 93. He was part of the 07 World Series team for the Rockies, and obviously part of the 2 world title teams here in San Francisco. 2 seasons with the Rockies, 06 and 07. During that 07 season, the league hit just .226 against him. He made 75 appearances for the Rockies. That was a beautiful curveball. It's 1-2.
Right, talk about Yellowhammer. There's the Yellowhammer as a hitter. When that starts out well beyond the left-handed side of your back and then all of a sudden drops to the outside corner, not a lot you can do with it. Very, very tight rotation on that breaking ball. Charlie fought off the fastball to keep the at-bat alive for a while. Bilau's warming up down in the bullpen for the Rockies.
That's 15 in a row. 15 in a row that have been set down by the Giants, starting with Lincecum.
Yeah, Bruce going to go out and make another pitch, change right here. In a 2-run ball game, he'll run this bullpen like this. McChee's been warming up down in the bullpen. He's going to come on and he will face Drew Stubbs. The Rockies trail at 4-2. Stubbs, MLB TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Well, there's McChee. He's been as good as anybody out of their bullpen. 0.31 earned run average, 29 innings pitched. just 16 hits, 23 strikeouts. Lopez, the other left-hander in the bullpen, has gone down to warm up. He'll be getting ready to face Morneau if it gets there.
And this is what Bruce Bochy does. I mean, he'll match up until he gets to the 9th inning. And then it's Sergio Romo. High chopper. Sandoval is going to get it out of his glove in time to get Stubbs. 16 straight now, retired. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jenny Cavnar from AT&T Park. The Rockies trailing 4-2, bottom of the 8th inning. And there's Matt Belisle to throw the 8th inning and try to give the Rockies an opportunity in the 9th against Sergio Romo.
Yeah, they've had success against Romo in his last appearance against the Rockies. They beat him up pretty good. 28th appearance for Matt Belisle, 519 earned run average. 26 innings. He's given up 29 hits, looking for 1-2-3 as he works against Hector Sanchez.
On the outside corner, a strike on Sanchez. Single back in the 3rd inning, 1 for 3.
And Belisle threw one pitch for the final out in the top of the 9th yesterday when Massett was ejected.
Curveball pulled foul. Nice pickup by Justin Morneau.
Well, hug the lines late in, particularly on a guy like Sanchez that likes to pull the baseball. He wants the ball middle half in. That upper half, he gets a lot of power behind the swing because he's fallen back off of the baseball on the inner half and really pull happy. And you try to counter that by staying away with something sinking away from that back path.
And he got him with a fastball. Good pitch by Belisle. He strikes out Hector Sanchez. First out in the 8th inning. Brandon Hicks will be next. Brandon coming to the plate, trying to avoid the golden sombrero. The Ford Strike Zone is powered by Ford SUVs. The versatility you need and the MPGs and quality you deserve. It's a smarter way to get there. Ford, go further. The differences for the Giants this year in comparison to last year is they're getting RBIs out of the bottom of their lineup. Now, Brandon Crawford's normally situated there. Crawford's second on their club in ribbies. He's just had the night off. This ball clubbed to left field. Dickerson will move in and make the catch. 2 outs. And Hicks, despite a poor batting average, below 180. As George pointed out earlier, he's hit 8 home runs.
He's hit 8 home runs in the bottom of the lineup with not a lot of protection around him. Usually Crawford will hit in that area, 8 or 9. They hit 8th, 7th, or 8th in the lineup, and Hicks is right there around it. Crawford's had a nice year, but pretty different the other way around.
Yeah, Crawford's had a really nice year. 2 outs, A-Ray Adrianza, who's playing tonight for Crawford. He takes a strike. He's 0 for 2 and an intentional walk. Auto Glass Issues, trust Safelite. Online at safelight.com. Phone number 303-287-5000. 1-1. Rockies will have Tulowitzki, Morneau, Rosario, and hopefully others in the 9th inning against Sergio Romo. Mr. Slider.
That's saying about his fastball. It's going to range 87 to 89, but he's a lot like Houston Street. He can pinpoint his secondary stuff along with that fastball, and he's just got the nerves of a cat burglar. He takes the 9th inning just thinking, I'm going to get you out and do it quickly on a lot of ground balls. How'd that feel?
For me or for him?
For him. I don't think it's so good.
Not so much for Adrianza. I feel fine.
Yeah, you feel pretty good. You got that shin guard. That's the only thing. It just doesn't cover the area where you got whacked. That was right on top of the foot. Sure you did.
Yeah,
go sit down.
Belisle, strong inning, 2 punch outs. We'll go to the 9th inning. Rockies need to rally. They haven't had a base runner since the 3rd, down 4-2. Lines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Ram Trucks, the Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. At AT&T Park in San Francisco, it's been a typical Giant ball game. They've pitched well and they carry a 4-2 lead to the 9th inning. They're going to hand it off to Sergio Romo, but first we're going to hand it off to Mark Stout back in our Denver studios. Mark? All right, Mark, thank you. Tulowitzki's going to lead it off, 0 for 2 and a walk. And again, the Rockies have had 3 hits. All 3 came in that 2-run 3rd inning. And they have not had a base runner since Morneau drove in the 2 runs with a single with 2 outs in the 3rd. 16 straight have been retired by a combination of Tim Lincecum, Juan Gutierrez, Jeremy Affeldt, and Gene Michie. Romo tied for the major league lead, George, in saves with K-Rod. Frankie Rodriguez has 20 for Milwaukee. The Rockies will see Milwaukee next week.
And 6 of the 9 runs allowed have come in the last 11 ball games. 6 earned runs in 10 2/3 innings. His 75 career saves ranks 8th most in San Francisco history.
He's from Brawley, California, which is just a 15-minute drive from Mexicali, Mexico. And Tulo takes strike one. And he ended up going to school at what was then known as Mesa State, and is now Colorado Mesa. And I know he's very proud of how Colorado Mesa played again this year, making the championship game of the Division II World Series, falling 3-2 in extra innings. Here's the one-strike pitch to Troy, and that is lined to center field, a base hit. So the Rockies will get the tying man up in Morneau, and after 16 in a row were retired, Tulo comes through, and I think he rolled his ankle. Going around first, he's hobbling around. Fine there. See if he rolls it on the. No, all of a sudden, he was running fine, and then a stride before he made his turn, something bothered him. He's coming out. What on earth is going on? Have you seen? Listen, injuries are part of sport. I'm the first to say that. To think that you're going to go through a season completely healthy is ludicrous in any sporting environment. But lately, I mean, it is absurd. Every day. This is the second Rockies player that's had to leave tonight. De La Rosa had to leave after 3 innings. And now Tulowitzki, who has a history of leg ailments, walks off. And it's impossible to determine what happened. He was running fine going to first base. So Culberson will pinch run. Morneau at the plate. George mentioned it, the last time that Romo got kicked around, it was May 20th against the Rockies at Coors Field.
And he got beat up really good. He got walked off, actually, and the Rockies won that ball game. Nick Massett has gone down to start warming up, but the Rockies do tie this ball game. If they get a run lead, that you'll see LaTroy Hawkins. He bounced out right behind Massett.
Tulo had a planned day off yesterday. And it's 0-2.
Major League Baseball, People Magazine, and Target are celebrating teachers in your community. Vote for the teacher who will represent your team at the 2014 All-Star Game, July 15th at allstarteachers.com. Make sure to vote for your Rockies All-Stars also. I get him reaching. He's staying completely away from Morneau's power. Wind still gusting, and it's not blowing particularly hard, but out into right center field. Difficult to run a back foot slider on a left-hander like Morneau because they're sitting so deep and far away from the plate. They have a tendency to leave it up.
Stay on that outside corner, and this ball driven to left center field's got to get down, and it will. Culberson stops at second. Back-to-back hits here in the ninth for the Rockies against Romo, and here comes the baby bull, Willeen Rosario.
That's where you start scrambling around. I mean, they had to use the straight-up switch with Culberson, so now you're going to have to look. Wheeler would be your guy if you can get that far down. Wheeler and McHenry, the only two left.
George Contos is going to go down and start throwing in the Giant bullpen.
Rosario 1 for 9 against Romo. Time for that to change.
0 for 3 tonight. And he was 0 for yesterday. At some point, he's going to catch fire. He's too good a hitter not to, and he's carrying an average in the mid-230s right now. above 290 last year. Look at this. If that doesn't speak, George, to a guy that's struggling with his confidence right now, I don't know what is. I mean, Rosario's a guy who can give you a lead with one swing, and he just tried to bunt on an 0-1 pitch.
Yeah, a couple of things. 1 for 9 against Romo. Looked down, saw the guy deep at third with Sandoval. I mean, you know, just feeling not like comfortable trying to hit the slider off Romo. So, hey, I'll just drop the bunt up third base line and try to have the bases loaded for Dickerson.
I don't know if I've ever seen him attempt to bunt before. Have you? I don't recall.
I have not.
0-2.
Yeah, Morneau saw something because he called EY over in a hurry. And he and EY having a conversation at first base. He saw something from Romo. Maybe what may transpire here shortly. We'll see if he saw something. Heads up baseball player looking straight down at Culberson.
In the air to center field, but playable. Culberson's going to tag, and so will Morneau. Safe there. Ball gets away for a moment, and that was a poor decision by Angel Pagan to try to throw to third, because tagging and moving into scoring position was Morneau. Now a base hit can tie up the baseball game. That ball had to go to second.
Knowing who's on your base paths is so important. Pagan thinking he had a shot at Culberson, who is a plus runner. And Morneau did not take off till he saw the throw going to third. You take away the double play, but what may, obviously happens now is they'll walk, I would think, walk Rutledge. Dickerson, walk him, and then not pitch to him. Well, they may, but, I know it's a go-ahead run, but it'd be right on right, too.
There's no way you can throw that ball to third base. That run, from San Francisco's perspective, doesn't mean anything. You got to prevent the runner at first, in this case Morneau, from getting in scoring position. Now they will go ahead and walk Dickerson. Set up a bases loaded situation with one out for Rutledge, who has had a quiet night but has been swinging the bat well. And they're going to call Rutledge back, and Walt Weiss is going to play the Wheeler card right here.
You got to take your shot when you can take it. Their left-handers are gone. That's the thing about it. The left-handers are gone. Culberson's in the game. I mean, you can shuffle things around. Wheeler can go to third and Mayu to second. Let's flash back to the 20th of May and the Rockies and Romo. And here's what happened and took place. You can see the big base hit. Arenado down the left field line, out of the ballpark, or appeared to be out of the ballpark. That won it for the Rockies and made a loser of Sergio Romo. Was everybody fired up about that? Obviously different players in this game. Same situation. Bases loaded. Wheeler with a chance to be a hero.
So Ryan Wheeler pinch hitting with the bases loaded and one out.
As a pinch hitter, you come off of the bench, regardless of who's on the mound, thinking fastball, first pitch fastball, because you know, particularly the bases loaded, they're wanting to get ahead. So that's when you take that healthy hack, trying to drive the ball in the air somewhere to get the run across.
Three for 10 against right-handed pitching since coming up earlier in the month. He had a good swing there. 0-2. Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special from Taco Bell when the Rockies hit the magic number of 7. 2-strike count on Wheeler. LeMahieu on deck. Culberson running for Tulowitzki is at third. Morneau is at second. And Corey Dickerson with good speed at first. He would be the go-ahead run if Wheeler can find a gap. Crowd of 41,000+ standing.
Backdoor slider. Yep, heavy sinker at 86.
field straight up for Wheeler, who has plenty of pop. Big, strong man. And back up the middle. Get on through at will. Here comes Morneau with the tying run. No throw from Pagan. Ryan Wheeler has come through. It is a 4-4 game. And the Rockies have done it to Sergio Romo again.
Well, Wheeler is the missing piece for me off of the Rockies bench. Hadn't been here all year. That you're looking for that guy that can come up with big base hits. From the left side, the fear of hitting the ball out, the fear of getting a base hit. A good pitch from Romo, but a great job of hitting by Wheeler on the ball. No throw even gone at all by Pagan in center field. Playing deep to get the out on a fly ball. The ground ball single scores 2, and you got a 4-4 ball game.
And now DJ LeMahieu can give the Rockies a 9th inning lead. Still just 1 out. Dickerson is at second base. Mike McHenry has come out in the pitcher spot. He's the last position player available.
Now LeMahieu 1 for 4 in his career versus Romo. For me, he's the perfect guy at the plate because he's not a home run hitter. He's a controlled swing guy. In other words, his bat is under control, so you might get fooled by the slider. Romo might win the battle, but I think he'll give you a very good at bat against Sergio Romo.
He goes to right field really well. That pitch kicks away, and now the runners move up 90 feet. Dickerson to third, Wheeler to second on the wild pitch.
Almost looked like a cross-up.
And this changes everything for the Giants. Now they have to bring the infield in.
Trying to backhand that slider down into the third versus trying to block the baseball. When that happens, a lot of times it's going to pinch off the heel of the glove. And that's exactly what happened to Sanchez. You know, Hawkins, if the Rockies take the lead, Massett if it stays tied.
DJ drives it to center. Pagan coming on. It's going to drop. Dickerson scores, gets away for a moment. And now moving up is DJ. No throw. 5-4 Colorado. DJ LeMahieu coming through.
Yeah, Boats, you want to know if Contos is ready to go. He's got to make a switch, get his closer out of there. Throwing 21 pitches in this inning, and it's the high fives in the Rockies dugout this time.
This is the kind of rally, George, that has so frequently through the years eluded the Rockies in San Francisco.
The double switch, it looks like Blanco will go to left field and hit in the pitcher spot as Contos comes in.
So the Rockies get after Sergio Romo yet again. They have a 5-4 lead. They're not done in the 9th. Talk about coming out of left field. The Rockies went to the 9th inning. They hadn't seen first base since the 3rd inning. And all they did was put together a hit by Tulowitzki, hit by Morneau. Rosario flew out, but the runners moved to 2nd and 3rd. Dickerson was passed on. Wheeler, a big 2-run single off the bench behind in the count. LeMahieu, a single behind in the count to drive in the go-ahead run. And now runners at 2nd and 3rd. And Mike McHenry will pinch hit against George Contos, who has spent a good portion of this season pitching down in AAA.
Fresno Grizzlies, where he had 2 saves. He was 0-2 with a couple of saves, an earned run average of 380. He was 1-0, 321 in 10 games with the Giants this season.
And this almost got away from Sanchez. 1-0. Mike's done a good job with the bat since being recalled to the big leagues. McHenry was 5 for 16 on the homestand. He's hitting .313 with Colorado Springs this year. Infield in, here's the 1-0. Blackman on deck. Wheeler at 3rd, LeMahieu at 2nd. Two and one. Stunned silence from this crowd.
And they haven't left the ballpark. 41,000 plus are sitting here, and you mentioned it perfectly. They are stunned, including the seagulls on the rooftop.
Two and two. Sometimes after you swing at a pitch that you know is way out of the strike zone, you need to take a walk. That's what McHenry just did.
Just take a little bit of a deep breath, relax, and come back out of there again. Not many pitch hitting times for him. With the Rockies only carrying 2 catchers, it makes it difficult to pinch hit one of those guys in a game. All right, he's got to keep them in reserve.
So important now to have a good 2-strike approach. Get it in play somehow, some way. Got a piece. (5-4) Colorado. They trailed 4-2 when the 9th inning began. Another 2-2. Pulled through the hole, base hit. Wheeler scores. And a stop sign for LeMahieu. Mike McHenry off the bench with a base hit. So the Rockies pinch hitters are 2 for 2 in the inning. And they produced 3 RBIs, 6-4 Colorado. Blackman coming up 1st and 3rd.
Here you go, another look at it after battling and battling, missing the breaking ball just enough to stay alive. Gets a fastball, shoots it through the left side of the drawn-in infield. And because Blanco got to that ball in a hurry and a very strong, accurate arm, Stu Cole held him up at first and third. The Rockies with a 2-run lead now.
Blackman a walk back in the third inning, and he would score on Morneau's hit. 0 for 3 otherwise.
These kind of losses for the Giants can sting, and it can ignite a club like the Rockies. After yesterday's win, with all the excitement in the 8th and 9th, the win the day before, the pitching of Tyler Matzik the day before carries over. Now you're with the Giants, and it's been so hard for the Rockies to get wins here in San Francisco and to rally back. This could be the ignition into that jet engine you needed.
Walt has stood firm when he's received questions after games, especially the last few weeks when there were so many losses and some difficult ones, and then a period where the Rockies seemingly couldn't buy a hit. He was asked about his team, and he said, I don't worry about my team. They come out and show up and are ready to play every day, and they believe. And this game kind of a microcosm of that, because between the 4th and 8th innings, they just were making right turns back to the dugout. But they showed up in the 9th inning again. Outside 2-1. The Seagulls don't know what to do, George. Normally they're feasting right around now. They're hovering. This is normally their time, but they're saying, wait a second, the ball game's still going on.
It's time for dinner. The ones on the rooftop looking over in left field are like, hey, guys, you might as well just park in a minute. The rest are coming in for dinner.
Well, McHenry gets picked off.
Was it on purpose?
Yeah, let's see. Out, and Bobble, run scores. It may have been, and the Rockies have a 3-run lead. McHenry took off early. Wanted to stay in a pickle to see if LeMahieu could score, and he ended up scoring.
Yeah, exactly what happened. That's what, as soon as he took off, it was like, okay, did he do this on purpose? And it turns out he did. McHenry with the big base hit. That bench has got to be really happy. I mean, that's an automatic. Yeah, pick me off, please. I got a huge lead over here. DJ, take off. And he did. And he's safe. 3-run lead for the Rockies. All about opportunity when you are presented with it.
I'll tell you who's not having any fun right now.
Sanchez.
Hector Sanchez. In this inning, half the pitches he's been able to catch, and the other half he's had to block.
Or turn and take it off the backside. And that not been a pretty inning for him.
7-4 Rockies, a 5-run 9th. When was the last time out here in San Francisco?
I don't think there has been a time to score 5 runs in the 9th.
Well, 5 runs in any inning out
Crazy.
here. And you know what else we have? We have tacos. Fans, the Rockies have hit that magic number. You didn't think it was going to happen, did you? Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow in the state between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Three and 2 on Charlie Blackman. 8th man to hit here in the 9th. Boy, this at bat's taking about the same amount of time as it took Tolstoy to write War and Peace.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
And it ends in a walk, so Blackmon goes to first. That'll bring up Stubbs. See some folks starting to stand and head toward the aisles. They no longer believe. Drew Stubbs tonight, a single, sharply hit back in the third inning, 1 for 4. I've said it many nights now, George, in the absence of Carlos Gonzalez and Michael Kadire, the outfield depth accumulated by the Rockies. Blackmon takes off. He's in there. The outfield depth has really provided the Rockies with a boost, missing 2 All-Stars.
Yeah, Boat's going to challenge this one, I think. A little frustration over the 9th inning.
Which will be, if it stands up, the 13th stolen base for Charlie.
Yeah, I thought he was safe. I mean, it's a bang-bang play, but I thought the foot got right underneath it. Well, maybe it didn't.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it sure didn't. Yep, they're going to challenge it.
Oh, we haven't had a replay tonight. Why not? I think Bochy's going to win this one.
Yeah, I do too. Man, they'll show it on the big screen here at the ballpark.
Not much. They just did show it. Not much of a reaction. Showed a different angle. This manager's challenge is brought to you by Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist technology, a vigilant safety feature that gives peace of mind to every drive. And the question is, and again, it looks like he's out there, can they definitively say that the tag's on the foot enough to overturn it?
Yeah, what time is it? Quarter 2 in New York right now?
It is almost a 1:45 in the morning. You're right. What are you saying? You had to wake the guys up first?
Well, kind of. I just kind of hinting that way. They came in on the midnight shift, right?
See, right there, it looks like he's out, but can you say, it's a tag on his foot? Yep, they're going to say he's out. So Blackmon is cut down by Hector Sanchez. That ends a very productive inning for the Rockies. 5 runs in the 9th. They have a 7-4 lead. Ryan Wheeler, a big 2-run pinch hit single to tie it up. And then the Rockies got to work even more after that. Wheeler stays in the ball game. He's at third base. Remember, Tulowitzki had a base hit to start the rally and did something, it looked like, to his ankle. It's hard to tell. He had to leave the game. Culberson pinch ran. Charlie stays in at shortstop. And DJ LeMahieu, who was at third base the entire ball game, moves to his familiar locale at second base. And LaTroy Hawkins is looking to get the save. He's got a 3-run lead. He's looking for his 12th save. This is his 13th opportunity. And of late, they've been few and far between, obviously. Gregor Blanco came in a double switch when Contos came into the ball game. He will lead it off, and then it's Pagan and Pence. And LaTroy's first pitch, high and away, ball 1. And that's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blanco, typically the 4th outfielder for San Francisco. He's been in a good place of late. 17 for his last 44, 386 average. Here's the 1-1, and it's fouled off. Swung late, it's 1-2. The final line on Sergio Romo. A third of an inning, 5 runs, all of them earned on 4 hits, and he had the intentional walk. So the last 2 outings for Romo against the Rockies has given him a nightmare. Third blown save as well for Romo. 2-2 on Blanco. Outfield shaded a little bit toward left center with Drew Stubbs. In the air, foul down the left field line, and it'll get well out of play.
Matt Blyle will stand to win this ball game coming out of the bullpen. Worked an inning, no hits, 2 strikeouts.
Two. Went, according to third base umpire Mark Wegner, and a strikeout of Blanco. 1 gone here in the 9th.
Yeah, well, did he go? Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously the bat came forward an awful lot. He regretted it, didn't argue it, just walked off.
And that'll bring up Pagan. Going back to that last outing, George, for Romo at Coors Field, where he blew the save and got the loss. 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs in that game, both earned. So 7 earned runs in his last 1 inning of work against the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, not good at all, obviously. And I mean, maybe it's time they got to get his number, because he's had theirs for a long time.
He's had a lot of people's number. 1 strike on Pagan. 1 for 3 and a walk tonight for Angel. On the ground to short. Culberson comes and gets it, and he'll get Pagan by half a stride. 2 outs in the 9th inning. Let's recap the top of the 9th for the Rockies. Again, Tulowitzki led off, and he kind of just punched a single to center field. And then Ryan Wheeler eventually would come up as a pinch hitter for Rutledge, and a 2-run single to tie it up. And then DJ LeMahieu, also behind in the count, lines a single to center. The go-ahead run would come home, 5-4 at Dickerson. McHenry would add on with that base hit through the left side. also, I might add, behind in the count. Here's strike one on Hunter Pence. And a ground ball weakly hit to the right side. What a victory for the Colorado Rockies. This is a game they have so frequently lost. Behind 4-2 in the ninth inning in San Francisco, they rally for 5, and they win it comfortably 7-4. Handshakes and smiles all around. The Rockies have won 3 straight. And what a terrific way to begin a road trip in Northern California with a 7-4 victory over the Giants, who have now lost 4 of their last 5. This is one that they normally do not get. Hawkins picked up the save, the victory to Matt Belisle, and the Rockies edge closer again to 500. They're now 32-35. The Giants fall to 43-25. Again, the final score. The Rockies with a 5-run ninth win it 7-4 over the Giants at AT&T Park. Plenty to do on the Toyota postgame show. Let's get you there now with Mark Stat. Mark?